seeing if anybody wanted to continue from the Coliseum continuance. With the people that they all wanted to jump on the next one. Mm. What's up, McDonald Bear? Who else in the building? A little bit of after party show. Nothing big, nothing small. What's up, Gabriel? No little. I just want to see what everybody want to talk about. Little after party, little yada yada yada. We had a dude trying to quote the Bible, actually misquote the Bible to a couple of people who can actually read. Can you believe that, folks? Some people are just goddamn idiots. I'm convinced that most Americans either can't read anymore or they let any type of bullshit. They let any type of bullshit gets in and they utilize it as fact. That shit gets annoying very quickly. I blame the school system. I really do. I think we should charge a bunch of people for this shit. I think we should actually charge people for this shit. Because people are stupid, man. I'm convinced people are just stupid. You gotta sit here and tell me one of the most prolific stories of biblical history ever told, and Eve didn't know she wasn't supposed to eat. Goddamn fembots, boy. See, these are the people who can, who you confront, and you tell them people are doing something wrong, and they'll try to convince you that right is wrong, and wrong is right. And you wonder why people like me just want to stay the fuck away from you. Oh no, she didn't know she wasn't supposed to eat. Who told her? Obviously, her husband and God. Because she had prior knowledge of not going near that motherfucker. Links in the chat. Anybody want to come up? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. I tell you sometimes, man, it's hard being knowledgeable. It's hard being knowledgeable, folks. I'm not gonna tell you. I keep telling you. Being someone of intelligence is very taxing and burdening because you have a lot of people out there who will convince you of some stupid shit. They will convince you of stupid shit. Let me see who's in the chat. Got two people. Jay Moore, Namer.
Well, also we coming up, so you got the whole trifecta.
I'm disappointed about motherfuckers nowadays.
I don't think you should be disappointed. I remember, was it Jesus says, "My people suffer from lack of knowledge"? But then again, can you count certain individuals as your people?
Dude, a lot of people are just willfully ignorant, so that's why I'm like disappointed. Because it's just difference when you're like, it's a lack of knowledge, and when you know the
Mhm.
knowledge and now you're just playing dumb.
Yeah. So if you know somebody's faking the funk, you just like you shouldn't be disappointed. You'd be like, yeah, this is who you are. This is what you're about. I don't want to get disappointed. You know why? Because I don't want to get emotionally involved. When you get too emotionally involved with that stuff, you like you get disappointed. That's why I say look at him for what he is and just take emotion out of it and realize, oh, so this is what you about. All right,
That's
all
why I
right.
told.
So I already just start saying "fuck you" to people when they start pulling this type of shit.
That's why I
Yeah,
told. That's why I told AB when you got to realize you can't let people spread ignorance. If you're smart
yeah.
enough to if you're smart enough to know something, my God, imagine the people who aren't.
Like Charles, Genesis is the first thing that we're taught in Christian/Catholic school. It's the first story.
Yeah.
We know it from the back, like the back of our hand. How are you going to tell us?
And you got to go First Corinthians to explain Adam and Eve. You know you're dead wrong. This is the reason why the the black community is a shit show.
Hmm.
Lack,
This
uh, lack of knowledge kills nations.
And misinformation causes is a harbinger of ultimate destruction.
Screw the
A
word
lack
misinformation. It's called lying.
disinformation.
Lying,
You're lying.
disinformation, fear.
It's willful ignorance.
Hmm.
You don't want to know.
And you know one thing, how you know they know that they're wrong or something is when you start proving them wrong. Then they start like getting fidgety, and they started like really like what the dude was doing last time, really trying his hardest to change the subject and deny what the hell what we're saying is true. Like
You
he
know,
knows he's
Dancing
really
around
doing
the subject.
you you,
exactly.
Dancing around the subject.
you know what's the most two powerful phrases you can say? I don't know, and I was wrong.
And the third is let me learn and find out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This is something. It's like I told this one chick I was talking to, am talking to. We'll find out in a month. But she says I don't handle me when I get upset or emotional. I don't like the way you get emotional upset. I don't like just because you have the right to say what you want, you don't have the right to judge anybody's reaction towards it. Well, I want a man that has patience with me. No, I've been
Exactly.
patient with
Why
you.
should that person have patience for you?
I told her I've been patient with you, but how long should that patience be extended till I tell you about yourself?
Exactly.
Mhm.
I
And
mean, that's that's a modern woman's trope. You want to have
Mhm.
the right to say, "Oh, well, I was emotional," but no, 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 you're a narcissist. I said, "What's a?"
Oh,
See, they don't want accountability. They want tolerance.
Hmm. They want kiss assness. Yes, this.
And that's the thing. If you don't kiss their ass, they respect you, but they don't want to. The thing is, like me and my boy, we would talk about this. Chicks pick weaker dudes that they can control because if they get with dudes that put them to a standard, they got to keep a standard.
mm, that is so true. I mean, you ever see why certain girls will show attention to certain guys?
Oh yeah,
It's because they you ever see that when usually guys like that they be like, why does she give me attention? And a lot of those boys are not hip to the game, are not hip to what's going on. So certain girls will come up to them, show them some type of attention, hopefully to manipulate them. Because most guys aren't shown kindness from certain individuals, from certain girls mostly. They don't get that much attention from the opposite sex, and when any attention they get, they cherish it. And women understand that. That's why they learn how to manipulate guys that way. That's why books like Esther Vilar's The Manipulated Man and the following books like that are important to read.
cause see, some of these chicks, like I'll use this in college. The
Mm-hmm.
reason that the chick in college don't want to mess with the guy in college because like, hey, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. It's nothing crazy. It's like, okay, I'm going to class, you're going to class. It's like there's no extra praise you're getting for going to school. We're both going to school. But the thing is, if
Mm-hmm.
you get in that hood dude from the neighborhood, it'd be like, wow, you're doing this big thing, you're going to college. Like, it's like there's a level of admiration to it.
Y'all remember Deliver Us from Ava, that Gabrielle Union LL Cool J movie?
Yep.
She was like, you know, a professional career woman, working for the state health department.
Making her brother-in-law's lives a
Life for
living
Living
hell.
Hill. Yeah. But here's what happened. There was that one scene where like she goes on the date with LL, and on the drive back, she's like upset about something, right? And then when he tries to he talks to her about it, then she just tries to put him in his place, talking about all her accomplishments and whatnot, and who the hell are you to tell me what to do? I am above you. You're beneath me. And he was like, I ain't. After that, he had to let the brother-in-laws know, I ain't messing with this female. She's on a power trip, and I ain't playing with them. So they had to convince him to try again. But
I
the
mean,
fact that she
they
would just
were
look
paying
down on
him.
it, they were, yeah. But you realize, especially like she was just upset because But when you realize why she was the way she was, you're like, okay, but that doesn't give you the right to just like go out there and just act like a protective older sister and just interfere in your sister's lives. They're adults, leave them be. Yes, you raised them, but that does not give you the right to like interfere constantly in their lives. Get your own goddamn life, woman.
What do we know? Single women keep women single.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, because it's a movie, but in real life,
Hmm.
she would have pushed her sisters to get divorced.
Dude, you know one thing, it's not even just single women that keeps women single. Even married women keeps women single. Because I seen what happened with my own mom and everything. Because both her relationships, especially with my dad and then my brother's dad and stuff, is like
Hmm.
what's it called? My aunts and all of them were whispering in her ear and gotten her to break up and doing all this other crazy ass shit. And and my mom, she has no man, but all of them are married. I'm like, all of y'all were living vicariously through my mother and everything. You guys were just making her stay there because you wanted to, like, you basically, yeah, you're just trying to live your whatever your fantasy how you would have loved to live through my mom, and you guys don't want to take accountability for this shit. Because I'm like, I look at them, all these bitches really fucked over my mom's life by whispering in her ear all the goddamn time. And the one chick that was telling her to stay with the last, like my brother's dad and everything, basically they were trying to get rid of her. And I'm like, yo, all y'all are bitches. Like, all y'all could burn in hell at this point.
Do you understand why they did that? It wasn't just because they wanted to live vicariously.
Because we're nigger dogs to them. I call it. We were just like some type of nigger dog. That's what I said.
No,
I'm
not just
like,
that. Not just that. Not just that. Not just that, Jay. Think about it this way. Those aunts and everybody, other female friends and family that your mom have, are they happy in their marriages?
one. One of them.
One is.
Hmm. And she's the least
But
one
your
to
mom,
actually
but
do shit, though. She was actually the least one
yeah,
actually whispering, but she was still
yeah.
whispering.
So the others resented your mom for having a happy relationship.
Hmm.
Women are always constantly competing with one another. That's the whole. That's why with women, it's not a friendship. It's the concept with them is frenemies.
Misery does love company.
Yeah, misery loves company. Misery loves company, and they don't like it when somebody else is happy. One of their kin folks is happy. Why do you think certain chicks think like to when they like to fix the girlfriends up with a less attractive man than they do?
Yeah. Hey, you know one thing too is like one of my aunts, her ass, she wants to go talk all this shit. Like she was one of the ones that called my mama, talking about my mom because what's it called? I'm a bastard. You know what I'm saying? And even my other
Oh
brothers are
wow.
bastards and all this other shit. So it's just like she's talking all this shit. And like even the people in the church, because she's a holy bitch. She what's it called? All of them was calling my mom out of her name and everything. And then comes to find out my aunt, her ass talking all this holy shit. She gets pregnant out of wedlock, and then she go forcibly get married like before she gets give birth, acting like she was out here being
A
all holy
shotgun
and innocent.
marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, like doing a whole shotgun marriage. I'm like, lady, you like, yeah, man, these bros are
I
crazy.
know who you talking about, like the church mothers.
Oh yeah, they're dude. The people like the church. I have a certain resentment about the church because of all the stuff that I seen what they did, especially to my life, and especially with my mom and everything like that. I seen like how they want to play all holy, but they want to be a devil in everybody else's life.
That's because places like that, God was never there in the first place.
Yeah, I know.
And when you deal with those people, it's not just that misery loves company. It's just that women can't find contentment in their situation. Women
That's the key word right there. Contentment.
women don't know contentment because that's why they always want a boss bitch. You gotta be ambitious. Why do I gotta be ambitious? I'm happy where I am. You want me to be ambitious to make more money to solidify you. Think about it. You're not making money to take care of me. That's why they hope you die. So when you look at the women who conspired against your mom, it was because not only they weren't happy, they can't find contentment. Their hearts are blackened.
Hmm.
And when you're dealing with a woman with a blackened heart, oh boy, look out.
Ice-T said it best. If in fact, let me ask the youngins. Let me ask the younger brothers here. If y'all remember Chris Rock's documentary, Good Hair. Y'all remember
Bro,
Good Hair?
Yeah, I watched it partially.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I watched the whole thing.
Partially. Oh.
All right. If you remember at the end when everybody was giving their closing thoughts and everything. Now, Nia Long was on some bullshit. You know, she was doing what she was giving she was giving all these rationalizations and whatnot. But Ice-T broke it down. He said, first of all, women should not blame other women for doing modifications on their bodies to improve themselves. But at the end of the day, I say do what makes you happy. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, man, a woman who's not happy with herself, she brings nothing but pain to every fucking body around her.
Yeah.
A woman who's not happy with herself brings nothing but pain to everybody around her. No, she's not content, she's not joyful. She's just miserable, she's angry about certain things, and she wants to take it out on the world. What is it the saying? A man will sacrifice his happiness for his family, but a woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness.
And even when she does sacrifice her family for her happiness, she still ain't even happy anyway. So
It's
what does
never
she really
enough.
get? Exactly. She a goddamn parasite, it sounds like. And I mean for the
I mean,
DC. if you know the DC version of Parasite, that Parasite dude. Just constantly feeding and feeding, and it will never be enough.
That's why some women are called succubus. You know, shout out to Black Ram 3103 because these conversations we have are therapeutic, man. And you know it, man. So I had to get the Chris Tucker.
And one thing though is like the other thing I hate on the other side too is these dudes that clearly messed up their lives and stuff like that. Messing with these women and having kids and everything. They want to tell you what a real man is. And then when you call out like, dude, you're saying you're the example of what real manhood is, but look at your life. You gotta pay child support, you gotta deal with all this other shit when you could easily avoid all of this stuff. And you want to tell me this is the manhood that you like that other men should like really go for or something. I'm like, that's some bullshit. You can't even admit that you're wrong. You're not even man enough to admit that you got suckered, you got played and everything. Because even
that's brothers with the incubus spirit, man. You got succubi and you got incubi, my brother.
Yeah, man, I had to deal with this shit even with my own cousin because I warned his ass, right? He got to pay child support and everything. I warned his ass about like what's it called, like a year or two before or something, because he was like his baby mama kept complaining about like, oh, you're doing such and such with the kid or something. But this dude had basically damn near full custody of his kid. Like everything was perfectly fine. They were happy as all as hell. She was just complaining. And he was like, I'm gonna prove her wrong. I'm gonna let her get the kid. We're gonna split it 50-50 and all this stuff now. And yeah, I'm gonna let her see because she thinking like, oh, it's so easy and stuff. I'm gonna let her know. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. She's making you fall for that stupid plot and everything. I told his ass like, I told him like within a year you're gonna be paying child support and she's gonna put your ass in jail if you do this shit. Your life is gonna be a hell. And he was like, no, I run this stuff. I'm a real man. Blah 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 blah. And then
real G and everything.
Exactly. A year later, he comes up on calling me on the phone like, yeah, man, I got locked up. Yeah, I'm paying child support. I'm like, you're an idiot. And he's like, he's be standing on this shit telling me what a real man is. And I'm like, dude, nobody wants to be you. If you're the definition of what a real man is, who wants to be you? Your own brothers don't want to be you. Everybody don't want to be you. And I'm like, dude, let's not get this shit twisted. The only reason why I look up to you is because you're taller than me. I never looked up to you for anything else in life. So why are you acting like you're something better than me? Like, dude, be quiet. You're an embarrassment to everybody in this household. He got mad as hell trying to get in my face. And I'm like, dude, you got asthma. Don't forget, you're allergic to air. I got pepper spray. I've been in the goddamn gas chamber. So I'm good.
What type of pepper spray you got? Is it like the cayenne kind? If it's cayenne pepper, it's not going to work on... If it's got cayenne peppers, it's not going to work on a Latino. They're just going to say, like, man, that smells delicious.
Hey
Those
man,
guys.
all I know he's allergic to air. That's all I need to know. If it's gonna mess him up if he try to get in my face again, that's gonna be the last day. Cause he was talking all this shit.
Don't do it. You know what?
That's
Protect your peace and get the fuck away from him. That's all you got to do, man.
oh no, I was like, I corrected him and everything. I warned him and everything. Now he's been on chill mode because he's like, God called it out. I'm like, dude, you only act tough like this when other people are around. You don't come into my face when other people are around because you know damn well if you were by ourselves, you might die. And you want somebody to find you or somebody to stop like whatever is gonna happen. And it's just like, yeah, I kind of had to check his old shit on it because I'm like, dude, you're not the pinnacle of manhood. Even he was saying like, oh, if we're in like, say it was like some type of like we're in a public space or something event,
Mm-hmm.
and like everybody starts like something bad's going on, and everybody starts spazzing out. What are you going to do? I'm like, I hope everybody calms down so we can figure it out and work together. So you're not a real man. A real man is all like, if you know how to really lead, leading is just as soon as you step in the room, you can control stuff. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? I'm not God. Who are you? Like, what do you mean?
Jay,
I'm listening.
understand that certain men talk like women,
Oh
and
no,
now
I call
you
him a
got to
bitch.
talk to them. No. You flip the script on them. What was the one thing Patrice did anytime his woman would ask him a certain question? He knew it was a loaded question. He would just give her a simple answer. He'd look at it and say, what do you think? You turn the question on him. Now he's got to answer it. You just go like, well, what do you think? And obviously this cousin of yours, like I said, he's got the incubus spirit because he loves that toxic shit, man. He's
Oh
drawn
yeah.
to dysfunctional women. So you have to understand this is a toxic person. You got to go no contact for the sake of your own peace.
Oh yeah, I mean, he lives in a whole different city, so he's good. The only way I flipped it on him was because I was like, dude, do you want your son to do this shit? And he got mad at me. Don't bring up my son into this. I'm like, dude, you're telling me somebody else's son to do something that you wouldn't tell your own son to do.
Yeah,
You're a
why
shitty person. You're either a shitty father or a liar or both.
which is why you just avoid these types of individuals, man.
Mm-hmm.
I get you frustrated and everything, but you learn. What do you learn? You learn that there's certain people that you can't help, and there's certain people who like to be stuck in these situations. That's why we're told just do not help. Do not help the ungrateful. Do not help the people who will not change. Do not help those who have that incubus spirit.
Yo, you know, it's really funny. I made a song for his ass for a lot of because he's like him and my stepfather because both of them be on this type of shit, and I'm just like, dude, you know what? You're
Oh, a diss track.
SLAVE, SLAVE. And I was like, your name is TO, whatever, Toby. I made a whole song. He got so pissed because I'm like, dude, you're a slave. This is slave mentality that you're on, bro. I don't know what you thinking this is, but this is some slave mentality type of shit that you're on. And he was so pissed.
You might as well looked at him and said, dude, you want a Britney Spears tip because you slave for her. You a fool, but leave him be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is why sometimes it's like Bugs Bunny to Daffy Duck. You can just look at him and go like, he never learns. Hey, some people can only learn the hard way, so leave them be. You just look at them and say, I hope you got a helmet. Go get your helmet, man. That's the only way you're going to learn, because I know you're going to learn this the hard way.
Yeah, and that's why, like, one of the things, the last thing I said to him, I was like, dude, I hope to God, if you ever do teach your son this type of shit that you're saying to me, that's just clearly this dumb that you really don't believe in, and your son actually dies from this shit, I have this whole conversation recorded, and as soon as we go to his funeral, I'll be the first one to tell you killed your son, and it's your fault that your son is dead. And he shut up after that. Even his mother, I think, had to go on it, like really check them on this shit, because I'm like, dude, your problem is that you don't want to check your mama on the fact that you a side bitch baby. You got all these issues, and this is side bitch baby mentality right here too. Like your ass is, you need to be quiet. You can't check your own mama. That's why you can't check your bitch. That's why you're running. That's why you ran into this type of shit in the first place. Why you playing child support, like dealing with these type of broads?
Mm. Who's this we got in the back? Who's this we got here on in the chat?
The new guy.
What's good, man? It's drama.
What's good?
Hey, McDrama Bear. What up?
What's good?
What's good,
Just-
McDrama
It's been a
Bear?
minute.
Yeah,
How's the
just
wife?
popping in real quick. Man, you know, it's the same old shit, dog. Just different day.
What, y'all been fighting?
Oh no, hell no, hell no.
hey, drama. I'm gonna tell you something. Even though I've never been married, I understand relationships. I've been in relationships. You know what's the best way to keep a woman from trying to argue with you?
Duct tape?
No.
Oh.
No. You know what you do? You just let her know that she's beautiful when she's angry.
I mean, that'll work for like low grade situations, right? But when it's like serious.
Duct
Wait,
tape.
wait, your wife was in the military. Wait, was it your wife's in the military, right?
No.
Okay. Oh, you were in the military, but she's not. Okay. So you just.
No, I'm not military either. No.
Oh, you're not military? Oh, I thought you were military. My bad. Oh, wait, you guys are college. You guys were what, college sweethearts?
Hmm?
He
You
said,
guys
"Are
were
you
college sweethearts, right?
Oh yeah.
College sweethearts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that explains it. That explains it. Okay,
Yeah,
that explains it. But you know,
you're not gonna avoid. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna avoid arguments, man.
no,
It's
just
gonna,
just have the arguments. Just have the arguments, but you just
par
gotta
for the
be like,
course.
yeah.
It's par for the course. It's the shit that they don't tell you, right? You're gonna get like a lot of people say, you know, I got this kind of relationship or whatever. It's like it's gonna be impossible. You know, past year 2, year 3. I mean, you see it. Even the NBA players can't control their situation, right? Even Barack
That's because they're
Obama,
mostly
right?
off the road. Yeah.
Right?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying, and I mean, it could be black basketball players, white billionaires. It's kind of part of the human condition that if you're going to sign up and you're saying I'm going to be in a relationship for 10, 20, 30 years, whatever, it's going to be impossible to not have to sit and deal with that shit and then have to figure out a way to diffuse the situation and contain the entire relationship, because at any point they're all gonna do some things and go left. Some of them, there's going to be a few that don't really go there, but most of them, I mean, it's the human condition. I don't think it's the thing that they tell you. It's like you are not going to be able to avoid it.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I would probably never get married, bro. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not so much. It's not so much. That's why you avoid the marriage, but it's just you got to understand. It just means you have to pick very well and understand what you're sort of getting into. But what you learn, if you can manage it, like it's the necessary thing that will allow you to really be a leader, right? That's why you don't see most presidents, leaders of companies, leaders of men not have a wife. Sometimes you do see that for sure, where they just have a bunch of concubines and they're doing their thing. That's not impossible, right? Like a Vladimir Putin. There's all types of dudes like that, right? But for the most part, if you're going to be able to inspire confidence for people, you got to know how to deal with the chaos of the feminine. Because if you know how to diffuse that in a very intimate way, you're going to have it's a master in psychology, because it's like it's every single time you're going to have to face that demon inside you that wants to come out when you get angry, and you have to figure out how to diffuse that and then diffuse the other person's demon, right? And once you figure that out the first time, it's like a level unlock in an RPG. It's like you get to another level.
It's pretty much social stamping.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know what you mean by that, but I mean, I can go with that.
Like it's pretty much, you know, it notifies the people around you that pretty much stamped.
Yeah,
And
yeah, 100%. 100%, especially if you're with a woman that everyone can see is worthwhile, and you've been there with them with for a minute. It's just like clearly he's had to deal with the BS, and he's figured out a way to do it.
Mhm.
But you also have to hold on a second. Sorry.
Take your time.
Every time I start talking, my dog starts hyping up and then he starts barking. It's like too late.
Wait, what breed is a dog?
He's a poodle, and he's a very lay down. Lay down.
Hey, yo, you got to call Cesar Milan on that one.
I know.
that's a big dog.
Yeah.
No, first of all, it's a poodle, which means you have to show his dominance, and you have to let them know, because the dog reacts to your energy. That's your problem right there, McDrama Bear.
Oh my god. He's like, man, it's 1:30. Why are you talking to the air? And he's going nuts. So
He's wondering what's going on. Sometimes you got to bring him in. Hey, come here. It's okay. Daddy's just talking with some friends. Man. But relationships are not easy. It's also like, I made the conscious decision not to get married. It's because, I had to do some soul searching and also understanding my own constitution. So that's not a problem for me. I later decided not to have children because, I understood because my own personal issues I have. So yeah, but go ahead.
Man, I understand. It's the same thing. It's just like I understand what I can't, what I'm able to deal with and what I'm not able to deal with, and I'm just like, look, man, I like to be free to a certain degree. So like I can't. Yeah, I can't deal with it, especially after a while. I'm like, yo, man, you're not gonna use this marriage or anything like that as a way to keep me trapped with your bullshit. I'd rather be gone. I will leave. So, and I mean, like and that's why I could say it's a part of me, like genetically. I think this is because my dad a little bit. It's like me and low key the same in that way. I'm like, dude, I can't. Nah, man, I can't live under this chick's stress. I seen what my dad and like I said, my grandfather died at like 55 from being stressed out by a chick. My dad refused. He's like, I'm not going out. His dad and everything. But even him with his damn wife and everything, he's like, yo, man, this bitch is just. I have to basically be quiet in the house because if not, she's gonna be spazzing out. I just don't want to deal with this shit. I'm like, I know. And I'm like, I can't live that life. I just can't live that life at all. I already have enough to deal with.
Yo, I don't know. Y'all familiar with Robert Sapolsky? Dr. Robert Sapolsky, PhD, neuroscientist. He teaches neuroscience at Berkeley.
Berkeley. It sounds
Stanford. Because he has like a 30+ year research on stress, where he was like mostly spent half his research involving baboon troops in Kenya and whatnot, and he showed like how stress will do sometimes irreversible harm on the anatomy. I mean, that could cause your DNA to fall apart, raise your risk for certain any preconditions you have. You can get the early onsets of certain health conditions because of stress. And I had this conversation with my own father about that stuff. I even sent him a documentary from Nat Geo about that. It's called Stress: Portrait of a Killer, I think it's called. Where it compared research from like three different studies, and it showed how stress really destroys certain people, compromises your immune system and everything. That's also why Eddie Griffin had that joke about stress kills. That's why brothers like usually getting with white women. It's like, why are you with that white girl? Because I'm trying to live to see 90. I want to live to see 90. I don't want to go into an early grave. I mean, even Chris Rock said this. If you remember Bigger and Blacker, when he had when he talked about, like, he ended his that special with his bit. He talked about how brothers don't go straight home from work. You know, when a brother, before he goes home, what's the first thing he does? He's got to go someplace. He's got to drink something. He's got to smoke something. Some
Or
brothers,
stay in his car for like a whole hour before he gets in there, get his bearings.
because he needs to be situated for all the talking he's gonna have to deal with the minute he comes in. And as soon as he steps in, it's like, blah, 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 blah. Whoa, hold on a second. Let me get my other foot in the door. Let me wash my hands. Let me drink some. Let me get something to drink. Let me take a dump. Why don't you go in the kitchen, fix me, eat that big piece of chicken? This is one thing I learned from my mom. I remember my dad, every time my dad came home, we were to stay in our room, excuse me. We did not talk to him for at least an hour or so. The only person he was like, that was exempted from that rule were my two younger siblings, you know, because they were little. And fathers, you know, when they come home stressed out from work, what's the one thing that really takes that stress, that makes them forget about the stress and everything?
Their kids.
The little kids.
It's that the little kid, that baby, especially when they come home to see their baby boys, you know, their baby girl or baby boy. I mean, Coolio had a song called "Smiling." It's from the Gangsta's Paradise album. We talked about his children. Because that's the person that'll just, like, makes you forget about all that pain and everything. But that was like the most important thing. When Daddy come home, everybody keep quiet. Go to your rooms. Just, you know, go do your thing in your rooms. Don't bother pops. And the little one's just gonna be, just see Daddy, just run up to him, say, "Hey," kick him up. Stress going that way. You know.
Yeah, I think one of the things you got to do is, yeah, first of all, like, I mean, like, when someone already said, I think it was Jay Moore, or I think he said, is that you know what you can deal with, you know what you can't. But before you even get involved in a situation, you want to make sure your life is, like, filled up with activities, like from the moment you wake up to the morning you go to sleep, right? Like, you know, you have your jiu-jitsu practice, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, you go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you go to the bar with the friends, you know, you have fantasy football Saturday. Like, you got to have your whole life already full. And then when that person comes in, you're making it quite clear that you're making room for them, right? And you have to kind of keep that momentum up going into the relationship. And then by having a busy life, you always have breaks. You're always going somewhere else. Because I think what ends up happening is most people get stuck in that rut. And I mean, let's be honest, like, we've all been brainwashed by TV, Married with Children, Family Guy, Simpsons, and we have in our head, hey, this bitch supposed to do this XYZ for me. And you can get there, but I mean, in this phase, we already know you're dealing with a more modern woman. So, like, at best, you're going to get, like, you have to choose on a couple good qualities, and then the rest of the stuff, if you wanted to cook a certain way, you're going to have to literally, what do we talk about, Caesar? You just brought Caesar Milan. Like, every day, you're going to have to, like, get up, let's go in the kitchen, and you have to cook with her, and it might take years.
15.
And one day she'll just, and then one day she might pick it up, right? Like, if it's that important to you, that's what you're going to have to do. Like, you think, like, again, like, if billionaires and NBA players can't get their stuff, you know, can't get exactly what they need, right? Like, you know, you're going to have to really choose someone who's really has a good relationship with their parents and isn't messed up and is coachable, right? Like, it is going to take a lot. It's going to take so much work. It's going to take so much work.
Yeah.
And I think people underestimate that. Like, it's not going to just, you're not.
It's
not
yeah.
They don't make those anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make them anymore like that.
To your point, Yeah. To your point, McDermott, but I also think that it's also one has to take a look at themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to have some like because most people, they're on autopilot. They don't have that self awareness,
Yeah.
and not that many people know who they are. You got to find out who the fuck you are before you go and you let somebody into your life. And I remember it's like you got to be in charge of your own happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is like I'm not okay. Me personally, currently, I'm not okay. I'm not happy. I'm not okay. I'm in a bad situation right now. So I know I'm not in the right frame of mind to have somebody in my life like that. Because the last thing I want is to take my frustrations out on them, and it's not warranted, or it's unwarranted for me to do that. So it's better that I like I have to be in the right frame of mind, and make sure that I am mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally in the right frame of mind to be in a relationship with that person. And make sure I have addressed all of my baggage. Most people, they come in with other baggage. This is why we talk about like other people, each other's history, each other's past is like it's not just how many people she slept with or her ability just to bond with you. It's also the emotional and other types of baggage that they may bring into that relationship, unresolved baggage or unresolved issues from previous relationships. Most people jump into one relationship to another without addressing the problems or learning the lessons, which is why so many people are so messed up.
Yeah. Well, and I think another thing too, and we get this from watching too much Disney, and I think Charles has said this before. It's not even just black men. I think men in general are way more romantic and naive than women are in terms of how relationships work. You really are never like your wife, your girlfriend, your jump off, whatever. She is not supposed to be your best friend. Like you're not really supposed to be having conversations. I'm not saying not to have conversations and not to pass the time, but she's there for the physical. She's there to give you the love that like your friends can't give you, right? Like so because you do need to have some skin to skin contact that isn't just sexual, but just like okay, this person loves me, right? Intimacy, right? And then you need someone to be part of the family unit. Like you need to like not. You can't put all that stuff on her because she's never going to be that, and you can't be that for her either. You have to be. You need to just find someone that you can roll with, and as you get older, they know your blood type, what you're allergic to, all that stuff, and you're doing the same thing for them. I mean, that's the whole point of the whole thing. The whole I need my soulmate and best friend. Like if you both are into romance novels, are into rom-coms and into that shit, then you can build that kind of relationship over time, right?
Yeah, because most of that's Disney, but
most of that's
like
now,
a lot of people understand. Like this is you're trying to find a companion that works best for you.
Now,
because the thing is, the whole reason y'all coming together is so y'all can raise kids that are functional.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, men are the true romantics. Like think about even when it comes to female R&B singers, when you look at the people that write their songs, it's men.
Yeah. I mean, who knows about pain more than a man? There's certain things that men can. There's certain pain. There's certain types of pain that men can express that women do not want to address. I remember. I mean, there's some women who are outliers, yes, but most women will not admit that they wronged you or this that or like I remember we talked about Anita Baker. She never had a song where she bashed men and everything like that. That's why the younger women don't want to relate to her. But they rather relate to like TLC because TLC had a song called "Creep," in which Chili T-Balls, they were like, "Yeah, I'm cheating on my man, and I'm doing it on the low, and I don't care. I know he's cheating on me. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Which is, you know what the exact opposite of that is? Mint condition. What kind of man would I be?
And I talked to my homeboy about this. Like,
Mhm.
so I have a hypothesis about it. I think the reason that
All
there's
right.
so many female R&B singers is because
Mm-hmm.
I told my homeboy, I said, hey, who's on the receiving end of love for the most part? So who's the one
Women.
that gets to feel love? So when I see like
Mm-hmm.
women sing a lot of love songs, I was like, of course, you're the receivers of the love. Like you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
do the action itself.
Yeah.
I mean that's fair. I'm a little more black pill on it. I think the reason you see a lot of female R&B singers is the same reason you don't see a lot of female philosophers. It's like that's the only thing they can sing about. They're
Yeah.
True.
you're not gonna like there are a few who like you they're gonna be a few like Bjorks, and there's a few artists that are like female artists that actually like are production. They know how to produce and they understand
Mm-hmm.
songwriting, and they talk about other things besides the relationship and a
Structure,
man and
music theory.
and things more
Mm-hmm.
than like a relationship with a man. But for the most part, no, because it's because
Bjork is eccentric as hell for an
right,
Icelander.
right. It's a very rare. It's a rarity, and it's because I mean, this is getting deep into
Mm-hmm.
psychology, and this is kind of content that I'm going to want to start working on. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and this
Hold
is
on a minute.
male or
You're
female,
Borging.
particularly
You're
like
Borging for a moment. Could you
being,
repeat that first sentence? We hear you now.
yeah. I'm saying this is deep. This is deeper in psychology, but like most people,
Mm-hmm.
and particularly women, but
Mm-hmm.
men and women, are
Mm-hmm.
find meaning through immediate, let's just say like hedonistic or immediate pleasure, like feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way they feel good is by like does this feel good? Okay, I will do. Does this feel bad? I will not do. Right now,
Yeah.
that sounds like really banal. Like, doesn't most people do that? But some people, they find meaning through building things, right, or controlling people, right, or some people find meaning through knowledge, right. Like I would, or some people like would just could read books forever, never talk to anyone, right.
Mm-hmm.
Or some people want to win a Super Bowl or do something with their body, right? Like climb Mount Everest or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to do with people, but
Mm-hmm.
they find meaning through that. The the people through the body, through knowledge, and through, let's say, building, those are like rarer people than most human beings are. Just is good, I will do. Is bad, I won't do. And
It's like most
right,
people are on autopilot.
they're on autopilot, but and it's autopilot for like sensual pleasure, right. It's like it's the reason, and because of that they don't think one or two steps past the sensual pleasure of now. Like
Mm-hmm.
saying like, hey, if you save up and you do and you work out and you eat good, in 10 years you're gonna feel great. That doesn't make any sense, right. And so
The strengthening of your tendons is long term. Is long
yeah,
term.
exactly. So bringing that back to the songwriting thing, particularly from the women, it's just they're sensual, right. So they're more about like aesthetic, feeling pleasure, enjoyment. It's very hard to get like to find people that are past that. Now
Yeah.
you're gonna find more men that are, hey, I like Star Wars and all I'm gonna do is read Star Wars or read physics books, right, and go deep
Mm-hmm.
into that. It's just just naturally you're gonna find more of that, or you're gonna find dudes that like all they're gonna do is work out, or all they do is like skateboard or some shit. But you
Mm-hmm.
but or like all you do is find dudes who like building companies or like building big shit, right.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you're going to find dudes who are your pookies, who are like all they're focused on is, do I look good, how much sex am I having? The just or and that's just an example of it, because there's so many different examples of like there's just normal everyday examples that you can go through.
Homosexuals.
Yeah, or just normal people that there's nothing like wrong with them, but the way they operate is at the deepest level is good. Okay, I will do. Is bad, I will not do. And then those are the people that will look around the crowd and like look around crowd. Crowd like must be good. I do. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
It's very golden retriever behavior.
exactly. And you will get the most intelligent people who will fall for that, right? And so that's why it's so weird, where you'll see really smart people will be like, why do you keep falling for this problem of yours? And it's because like this is at the deepest level of psychology. These four ways that I just sort of mentioned are how we get meaning from the world, right? And that's the only reason we're alive. We're alive to look for meaning. We're the meaning making animal. No other animal is like looking for meaning. They just do, and the doing is the meaning. Do you know what I mean? And when you find meaning, it creates something called numinosity. It's like it's akin to awe, or having a holy moment, or a transcendent moment. You're like, wow, this is the best it's ever been. I feel one with everything. Like, and again, this could be in a like,
Isn't that the very concept of nirvana?
yeah, but it's situations we've all had it at different degrees, where it's like, wow, I really worked out really hard, and I've reached like my personal record. Holy shit, I've been working hard, and I did it, like, and you feel it, right? Like it, and you can get it from like, wow, I've been studying hard trying to get this code, and I fucking figured it out. Holy shit. And you know what I'm saying? We've all had those aha moments, right?
It's
And
that euphoric sense of like, I've done it.
exactly. That's what we live for. We live for that.
We
right?
live
So
for
the
the
problem. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yep, we live for the epiphany. We live for the
That's it.
moment. And what happens when you live for moments? There's no more dragons to play. There's no more giants to face. There's no more mountains to climb. You're trying to catch that high.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
And
vice in its own way.
and what happens is, if you can't find motivation, a lot of people can't find purpose. If you can't
Mm-hmm.
find purpose, you go through stagnation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's where a lot of people fail to grow. You got to look at why does the incel think it's cool, just not to, because he doesn't have any motivation.
He's given up.
He's given up.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for love without loving himself first. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
He
Oh
wants
yeah.
he wants the storybook that's in his mind, but it's not real.
Think
Well,
about
here, people.
those
Well,
Disney.
people.
I'll say
No,
this
go
real
ahead.
quick.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Those Disney movies affected the boys just as much, if not more, than the girls.
Mm-hmm.
I can attest to that.
Because a lot of these boys think that, hey, if I do this, I'll get the girl. But they're never warned about about really, let's just say what it is. They're never warned about the psychological minefield with your relationships and life
Mm-hmm.
itself.
I mean, that's what Family Matters taught me. Like Steve Urkel, in my head, I was like, hey, Steve always tried and failed, but he kept going, he kept going, he kept going. So if I just like wear her down and just convince her or show her, then maybe it will work. But you find out the hard way.
Oh, but let's not forget what happened. Steve met his match in Myra.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. He won with Myra. Like once I saw he
Mm-hmm.
got Myra, I'm like, oh no, he won.
He was content. He was content, and Laura resented that because now she has to argue. She has to compete with Myra for his attention because she has to earn that. She has to earn Steve's attention.
She thought she was better than him. She thought,
She thought
see,
she was better than him, but she needed him just in case, like as a fallback.
you got to remember,
Hmm.
she was only the prize to Steve when Steve had nobody.
Hmm.
She was only the prize to Steve when Steve had nobody. When Steve got somebody, the roles flipped.
Oh yeah,
He became the prize. His attention was the MacGuffin, the eye of desire.
And not only did he get somebody, he got someone better looking.
And better treating.
somebody and
Better.
better thinking.
Yep. There's not one thing that she could say that's wrong with Myra. The City Boy won.
Yeah.
When he stopped, that's when he stopped kissing her ass and he started respecting
Hmm.
himself. Look how his fortunes changed.
Because
Yeah.
if you notice in that show, you notice that he starts calling her on her shit more often.
Notice there's less and less manipulation of Laura to Steve.
Or y'all remember when Steve did that transformation and became Stefan? And what happened?
She was
She
all
tried to
over
make it
him.
permanent. She tried to make him go permanently, Stefan Urkel and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Stefan was like, no, I can't do that. Steve is Steve. I'm a part of him. I'm a part of him. So he said, I respect Steve for loving himself because Steve loved himself. He understood who he was and he was never a fool about it. He was not, he had no disillusions of who he really was.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget something. Steve learned a lot as a boy. Growing up, you know who was a person he looked up to?
Carl?
Eddie.
Carl. Carl, no, Carl.
Oh yeah,
Carl was
that's
like
right.
the father. He never, because remember, he has a father, but but he liked being around Carl because Carl had that like fatherly touch that he needed, even though, sometimes Carl ended up, oh, he suffered a lot because of Steve, but
But he also,
Steve was pretty much the black sheep of his own family.
you got to think about it.
hmm
You know what Steve Urkel was to his parents?
but
The constant reminder of their failures.
wait a minute, his dad was a brain surgeon, wasn't he?
Yeah, weren't they just like they just were neglectful, right? They were smart or
Yeah,
smarter than him, right? They just were
No,
never around. That's the thing, right?
they were
yeah.
never. No, they were never smarter than him. Steve
Oh,
was
I
a bit.
guess you're right. I guess you're right. You're right.
Steve
My
was
bad.
inventing, Steve was inventing shit that went against the laws of physics.
hmm
That's right. That's right.
So, in other words, there are some parents who can't stand their children only because their children outclassed them early.
When that should be the goal.
Once again, there's some people who can't stand their children because they outclassed them early. They couldn't relate to him because he thought on a different level. Sounds familiar?
Yeah.
Look, after my grandfather got out of the army after the war,
hmm
he was working two jobs, as one as a butcher and then one as something else. My father went into the Navy, got his associate's degree, we got a trade. It was a step up. And then now for me, I went to good schools coming up. I went to a private college. I got
hmm
a 4-year degree in STEM. Like hopefully, do the Dr. T and everything. Shoot, I might even go get my doctorate one day. I don't know, but shoot,
As they should.
But shoot, like I want my son to become like a global elite. That's what my goal is.
But you also got to think, what does your kid want to do? And you got to kind of push them in that realm to that area gently. And this is the one thing people never talked about Steve Urkel. Steve Urkel was in a different class of everybody.
Mm-hmm. He couldn't. He needed like-minded people. He tried to
Yeah,
relate
yeah,
with others, but he
yeah.
could not because
It's
he
like
thought on a high level he was also a thinker differently, and they just didn't understand him.
it's
They just
like
thought he was just a pest. But go ahead.
it's like this.
Mhm.
When you're the lion of the savannah, what the fuck do
Mhm.
you have? What the fuck do you have in common with a gazelle?
Nothing.
You have different functions: eat or escape. What you think about it is when he started, I didn't like when they made Myra crazy because what you told people was the girl that accepts you for you is crazy. Keep chasing this bitch who don't like you.
She's obsessed with him.
And when you think about it, she showed none of those traits before.
Yeah.
Which you can tell that was a broad writing.
It was a backslide to what her character originally was.
Yeah, it was bad writing because find a person who celebrates you and not tolerates you.
Mm-hmm.
And the sunny thing about it was, hint, hint, nod, nod, he didn't even have to go outside his race. And he found somebody better, cooperative, feminine, fit, friendly, any of those tenets.
Somebody who related to him, someone who saw eye to eye with him on a lot of things, and who appreciated him.
I told you the other day, got this chick's phone number, and she
Mm-hmm.
asked, oh yeah, by the way, today is Frankie Beverly's birthday. He would have been 79.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah. Happy 79, Frankie.
I think of a laid back type of guy. I need a laid back type of girl. Oh yeah. You gotta realize this. This chick, I got her number, hit her up, text her, had a conversation. And the first conversation, her sweet daughter, she asked if I could get her daughter a birthday gift.
Jesus.
It was a test.
How
Yeah.
I how I carry myself is how she get a VV. If I go get that gift, I'm a lick.
You a
Sucker.
sucker.
Even though how sweet, how beautiful, and how precious your daughter is, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
you,
Well, yeah, that's just
We just
rude.
met.
That's the point. She
daughter.
wouldn't do that to. She wouldn't do that to you know a boss or a president or someone. You know what I mean? She would clearly be like, "Oh, that's rude," but she's doing it to you. So I wouldn't tolerate that shit.
It'd be one thing if we conversated and we knew each other for a period of time, and I
Yeah,
met the little girl, but just
Mm-hmm.
exactly,
off the rip,
Yeah,
exactly.
Hell no.
they're trying to
No,
find.
no, no, no.
They're trying to find out if I'm a lick.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
it was a test. It was a test. And because you refused, I'm sure she respected that, but she realized, or she just cut her losses. Hopefully, you cut your losses too.
I mean, shit, she was finding in Prague here, but oh, we can still talk. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm like, yeah, let's
Oh,
just
he's got reconnaissance. Okay, he's doing this for reconnaissance. Fair enough.
because let's like, put it to you this way: if I last time I tell bitches who don't like me, I tell them straight up, you can't unsuck a dick. So there, wins.
Exactly.
Win.
You
Well,
can't unsuck a dick
That's
just like you can't
that's
unfuck.
fire.
you can't unscramble eggs. You know.
You can't outfun it. You can't outfuck a dildo or a cock.
Mm, I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
hey, let's be at peace.
I mean
If
Mm-hmm.
the biggest insult is Just the thought you could get away with it.
Man, that's what I'm trying to. That's just man. That's just
And
what you're dealing with. That's what, like, 100% of the time. That's what you're dealing with. Some of them are better than others, but it's just like that's just when you're dealing with them. That's what you're going to be dealing with. Some of them just ask earlier, some ask later.
I'm like, wait a minute. Let's look at this for a fucking second. For a lot of
Mhm.
women, I'm considered a nice looking guy. To a lot of women. I remember when a friend of mine visited today when I was making lasagna. Yes, I can cook like an old fat like Italian lady. Learn how to make
You cook
lasagna.
like somebody's nona.
Oh yeah, I put all the spices, get the garlic, get the tomato sauce, get the cut tomatoes, the cut peppers, and little mushrooms. Come here, you little bastard. I'm gonna feed you. Feed you better than we did in the old
Nah,
country.
nah. I take it back. You somebody's is nano or somebody's no no.
Wait.
Those are
Did you
maternal.
use love with it?
And it was so funny that she didn't know I could
Hmm.
cook so well. She was like, "Can I give a little square?" Good God, so good. I was like, then she's looking at me and she's laughing. Oh, you got muscles. Can you help me move? I laughed. I said,
Excuse me.
I got something better than muscles. It's called younger men. So all you gotta do is pay food or legal tenders. Your choice.
Charles, you use a special sauce?
Oh yeah, use this sauce. God damn it. It's funny because there's a reason why. Let me put a lot of people in game. Sissy Peter, yes we can. What's up, man? Let me put people in game. Every man and woman has that one person they cannot be left in a room with. For a few women, I was that guy. You can't leave me in a room with this person because most of these women will, at some point, they're gonna be like, "Okay, this is simply irresistible." Dun, dun, dun. So, and there's been some women I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay in a car. Why? Because I'm gonna fuck you. That's why. Trying to be good, trying to be good. But come on, I made salmon. Okay, I'll take the salmon. Okay, why are my clothes off now? Fuck. So when you have skills and different abilities that women never heard of, it surprises them. But don't expect me to cook all the goddamn time though. If I was living with a woman, because at one point when I lived with my ex girlfriend for 5 years, I didn't. I barely cooked. I barely put a bowl of cereal. She was insulted not to cook for me.
Oh,
Because she actually cared about you.
For a minute. For a minute, when the times were good, the times were happy and sad. Shit.
uh,
And when it's good, it's good. When it's not, it's not.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. A lot of
Oh yeah.
that's why you got to look into that. I think one day I'm gonna do a total breakdown of um, family matters
Oh
because
yeah.
when you actually go for that, you have to look at shit and say, look, Steve was in a different class than you motherfuckers. Steve
Hmm.
was. If I had a friend like Steve, I'd have been on some James Bond shit.
Like he was the gift just being with them. Like he elevated their whole lives.
People forget he
He
saved.
was the cue to your James Bond. That's what he was.
He would have saved. He saved. Did you know? At some point, he saved somebody's life in that family.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he saved Carl before he died.
Hmm. And it's funny because even she had to bow down and hug him and said, "Thank you for saving my daddy." It's such a sad time in the world where like General Patton say you shouldn't mourn like it is wrong to mourn men like this. You should thank God that men like this lived.
Hmm.
Why don't we ever thank God that men like that live? I think that's real cruel that a guy like Steve Urkel would never get his flowers alive. Well, you gotta understand, he's not cool enough, but yet he's gonna be the perfect stepdaddy for you, huh? I bet you.
Well, in reality, the Steves they get exiled out the community, the community.
Steve would be a god in the white community. Hispanics would never let him leave. They would throw women at him. Asians would adore him. Black people, we do not protect our best and brightest.
I mean, what did they do in the show to him? They abused him, called him names.
Steve Urkel is the reason why things like the Mannix Fair exist. Steve Urkel is the reason why, or the character of Steve anyway.
Steve was also it's basically like it's like what was it they said it? If you spoke proper English, they accuse you of being uppity
Oh, white
or trying to act white or something like that. I'm like, first of all, speaking proper English doesn't make you white.
makes you
Just
white.
because, well, it does. I mean, it's something. Dick Gregory said this best. Dick Gregory said something really insightful. Of course, most people were just laughing because there was a lot of jokes, but he was like addressing it. It was in New Orleans, 2008, during Tavis Smiley's State of the Black Union address, and he was like chastising black people, like y'all gotta stop, you gotta do better. Because he called them out. He said, first of all, y'all were saying that Obama's not black enough, but you guys kept saying that Clinton was black. What kind of fools are you? All right. Just because the white boy can play the saxophone and he was cheating on his wife like a brother was, something like that, doesn't make him black. But you're gonna clown this, Obama for not being black enough because he was raised in Hawaii. He was born and raised in Hawaii,
Well, you know what
raised
I
by
think?
his. Go ahead.
No, sorry. Well, I think with the talking white thing, I mean, there's a lot of history to it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The Black Bourgeois. I kind of skimmed that book recently, and so there's some
Yeah.
history in terms of the ones that could do better, kind of just you know didn't necessarily build for the greater community. But now the reason behind that I don't really know because again I skimmed the whole book. But I mean I'll take it to an even like larger sort of philosophical thing, and it's I think part of the reason people are so short term because again it's just like you don't know how good things could be if you did things a certain kind of way, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's just so much work to do a certain kind of thing. um it's like so you don't know like hey you can waste your time trying to code switch or whatever, but you don't understand that if you don't speak a kind of way you're going to be limited in terms of the places that you can kind of go, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I've done contracting work for like huge companies, right? And
Mm-hmm.
deploying sites that have done a lot of money. And in these rooms the people who were making the decisions, there were if there was one black man and he was like from France, right? But there were no American black men there,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there were like then black women that were there, they were there as customer service reps kind of thing to bring their insight in terms of the site. You know what I mean? And so it's just unless we're going to build, which I think we should, build these opportunities for ourselves, which is the only way forward.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get into the rooms, we do have to kind of do like what the Russians do and build our double agents to get into these institutions. Because you're not going to be able to. You can only code switch for so long before they're like, oh, it's going to slip or it's going to sound. You're going to sound a certain kind of way, right?
But even Frazier talks about like the black class compression. The thing is, everybody's put in kind of the same box, and I think that the whole reason of the black bourgeois, like the whole encapsulation of it, is you had these group of people who wanted to, kind of in a sense, etch out their own class structure that every other community has. But the thing is, they were hitting these different walls that was kind of keeping them in place.
Because we were made because black people are the designated underclass, they were like denied that ability for upward mobility, or they made it extremely difficult for y'all.
Well, yeah, and I think those. I think that all the history is 100% accurate, and the environment is a pretty big wave that's kind of hard to ride. But I think if you look, I think there is just a fundamental inability just to work together in groups, because even if you're in a confined space, like even in jails, even in confined spaces where there's not much room, not much freedom, hierarchies naturally exist if you want any type of things to happen, right? So if you want to be able to get high and you're in jail, there has to be some type of drug hierarchy to get, there has to be a gang hierarchy to get the drugs in there so you can get high, right? And if you want to be, that means you then have to respect. I'm just using a very base example, right? Like in an example where it's just like you're super constrained in jail, right? But if you want to have access to these things, you have to, a hierarchy has to form so that way it's like a supply chain, right? And then you have to get part of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think we're not unwilling to form supply chain. I think part of it is we don't know how to, like, again, going back to kind of those 4 ways of like finding meaning. We don't know how to like have a complete team. Everyone wants to be a quarterback. No one wants to be on the offensive line. No one wants to be a wide receiver. No one wants to be a cornerback. No one wants to be an offensive coordinator. No one wants to be a trainer. Like, we need all of those things to be a team, right? We can't all be Donovan McNabb, whatever. We can't be the star quarter Cam Newton. I can run over everyone. I can throw it. Like we can't all do that.
Well,
y'all can't be Michael Vick.
Everybody, Lamar Jackson.
100%. And Lamar's getting better every year, right? He just needs to get a little bit more accurate, but it's just amazing how good he's gotten, right? And he's playing quarterback. He's not doing that other stuff that everyone like is trying to accuse him of, right? He's playing the game the right way. But like, everyone's trying to do that. It's just like, we don't know how to just like, hey, when we're doing this thing here, it's okay just to be the garbage man, to be the person to just take out the trash. Like, your whole life isn't being a garbage man. It's just you're a garbage man in this particular hierarchy so we can get shit done. And I think the problem is we are the stuff that we do like too much. Like, instead of just saying, hey, I am more than willing to do something that is unglamorous in order to get things done, in order to make sure I get paid, in order to make sure that I keep my cycle going.
Well compensated.
And I see it with it's a pathology that I even see in my family. Like there's no reason for anyone in my family to not have done well. And I've seen people in my family trick off tons of money, not like just in weird ways, and not just like slow down, analyze the situation, get the right people involved. Like, and part of it's cultural, because a lot of this stuff in other cultures, you're sort of taught natural hierarchies, and like, it's okay to not be at the top of a hierarchy, right? It's okay to be at a certain level of the hierarchy as long as you get the things that you're supposed to get, and everyone gets the things they're supposed to get. And I think
Go ahead.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
And I think
Mhm.
when we talk about what you're saying is that people want to be on top. They want to be the commander without actually taking commands first.
Mhm.
There has to be a hierarchy. Why? Because when you're in charge, you want the respect. You need to get the respect you want to you want to receive once you're in that position. And everybody has to. Guess what? When you're a lonely private scrubbing floors or doing KP duty, one, a lot of that shit's a rite of passage.
Mhm. Mhm.
You got to pay your
100%.
dues.
It's
Yeah,
a ritual.
because that's why I brought up like Frazier's like class compression. You have a lot of people in the community that don't believe in the hierarchy.
Yep.
They believe that, oh, they might be lower status, but they think they're on the same playing field as the higher status or like even the middle class. And I was like, no, like that's not your role and that's not your positionality. But the thing is, it's like I've talked to certain black people, they take it as
Mhm.
disrespect or you're talking down upon me. Like, no, it's just the mindset is just different.
The mindset is feminine,
Yeah.
and
100%. Yeah.
that's
That's what I was
why
gonna say.
men. Why do you think it's good to play on sports teams
Mhm.
for boys, even girls?
You
Because
learn the pecking order.
you learn the pecking order. Do you think my first day of wrestling training, I was tossing people around? What do you think happened?
No, you got
You
Got,
got
tossed
your ass
around.
whooped.
got my ass whooped from one end to the mat to the other.
You got rubbed. You had your face rubbed in the mat, huh?
You get beat up.
You
Mhm.
get roughed up, and afterwards you had to cut the mats afterwards.
Hey, guess what? Eventually, you start learning your craft enough so you
Mhm.
get punishment, and it makes you fair because one, everybody has to have that coming to Jesus moment. Come to
Mhm.
Buddha, Allah, Elohim, whatever you want to call it. Why? Because if you go out there cocky, you're going to dishonor yourself, your coach, your team, your school, and the sport itself. That's why I have this strict belief that people, that black community, before you pick up any ball sport, you should pick up combat sports first before any ball sport.
Mhm.
You would actually curb a lot of violence,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you would build back respect. It's been proven, and even when I was doing my reign, my coach would actually say, "Okay, this guy's not listening. What should I do? Make him listen. If you piss me off, I do throws, not double legs or singles. I'll do body locks, and I'll just rip you off your feet and drive you right into the mat with my chest and your sternum. I'll do side throws. I'll do arm throws, belly to belly. Like it took
Belly to
one.
back,
It
German
took
suplexes all over the place.
it took one guy because he was being disrespectful to the coach to realize you never. I had to sit him down and say, you don't see the correlation. Every time you disrespectful to the coach, who does he make you wrestle? You. He was like, oh my bad. Thank you. So I don't have to keep throwing you around. You're my teammate. I don't want to hurt you. Hurt you.
You don't
And
want to get dragged off.
And just like my first day, I went to boxing. Had a black eye, bloody nose, split lip. Hmm.
Ooh,
Had to come back. I studied the guy for a week. Weak lower body. So he tried to throw a overhand right. His fist hit an elbow. Anybody who hit an elbow punch, you know you fucked up. So I hit him with a straight right down the pipe and bounced him off the rope, stuck down, body shot, body shot. And was wearing his ass 300 minutes. I actually hit him in the body one time so hard he pissed blood.
Shit.
He pissed blood.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'll tell you something. That left hook to the body, especially if it's that liver shot, good night.
Mm-hmm. I took a
You are
good.
out of commission.
I took a
Or if
good.
you get hit, yeah, or if you get hit like just below the sternum, that
Mhm.
that knocks the wind out of you right there immediately.
I took a
That
good
space
body.
between your ribs, right? Yeah. Oof. Go
Took
ahead.
a body shot with a good smoker session. Hitting the guy with jabs, crosses, nice little hooks. And he dug one, but he dug a liver shot. Boom, ate it. Never felt shit. You know, I'm going back to my combos. We're trading. He just snuck it in again. I took 3 steps and I just went to the ground. Like, oh, what the fuck was this? Uh, uh, I guess you're conscious, but you can't move.
You just completely incapacitated right there. That liver shot, that's it. You're gone. You're down.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
even
it.
when you're rolling around doing submission wrestling.
Hmm.
Even, even with BJJ guys, gotta humble yourself. You know, there's times you're gonna get caught. There's times you're gonna catch other people.
Hmm. So the same thing with judokas, samboists as well.
You
When they get
know,
to the ground and the grappling submission moves.
there's a funny thing because when I was rolling around with the BJJ guys, I had an
Hmm.
advantage that they didn't. You
What's
know
that?
that. Well, besides way better takedowns, because
Hmm.
I actually had to teach the guy who ran it. He was a classmate of mine, so he asked me to teach wrestling throws and double legs because Brazilian Jiu Jitsu has horrible takedowns. So
Yeah.
so it's funny. We were rolling around and one guy tried to catch me with something, so I slipped out. And one thing about Mr. Brown, he knew a lot of old school catch wrestling shit. So
Yeah.
I knew a lot of calf crushes and heel hooks. So I caught a dude with a heel hook.
Ah.
And he was tapping like Fred Astaire and Sammy Davis Jr. But I didn't crank on it like most people would. In competition, you crank the shit out of it. But, you know, crank on it because before you can tap, you can break somebody's fucking leg with a heel hook like
Hmm.
that. Tap. So you gently let them know you might want to tap now. So a lot of
I'm
guys,
tapping. I'm tapping. I'm tapping.
and the reason why, going back to that pecking order, like you mentioned, it's funny when I bring up those combat stories. You're right, the pecking order. And women don't like pecking orders because they have this hive mind where everybody's equal, even though women live off of pecking orders as well.
100%.
The
It's a
queen
shit
bee.
test. They shit test. What they do is it's their strategy. So what they'll do is like, hey, we're all equal, and then what they'll do is politically behind the scenes is how they'll assert their dominance, right? Back talk, backbite, that kind of thing, and they get, so yeah, like you said, they have a pecking order too.
They do it all the time. And they will shame each other. And
Yeah.
they will get all the women together to shame you. Oh, that's not that's not the one that we do.
There's nothing like pissing off the mean girl in school.
Mhm.
Your name is
I
Mud.
mean, that's why, like I said earlier, with men, we understand friendship and everything. We understand friends, loyalty and whatnot. Women, it's frenemies. A frenemy is basically an enemy at all times, but a friend when it's convenient.
Yeah, I've never
You're a
gone to
friend when I
another
need you.
man. I've never gone to
Hmm.
another man and said, "Hey, you hate him? Yeah, I hate him. Let's be friends." Like that never happened in
No, no,
life.
no, no, no. Actually, you do that. But no, actually, men do that, but we have a reason for it. It's called The enemy of my enemy is my friend. You're in alliance with somebody for for a certain reason. That's geopolitics right there. That's politicking.
Well, you know what I'm saying? You know what I think another way we can put it, because I agree with what you're saying, Neymar, is that men, just because we have more testosterone in the way culture initiates us, we're more in tune with what I'll call warrior virtues. Now, most men aren't warriors, right? And most even most soldiers aren't necessarily warriors, right? Warriors are they code of conduct, hierarchy. They have a purpose, that kind of thing, right? That's all that kind of stuff is foreign when you talk to women, and in fact, they have a disdain when you bring up the idea of like warrior, right? They don't like they think that if they were in charge, that there would be no war, there'd be no need for that kind of thing. But really, the idea of the warrior is like boundary enforcement. Like we all, your house is your house, my house is my house, right? Like
it's a code of conduct.
Exactly. You have to enforce boundaries because it's like we don't just have like you don't just come over to my house unannounced and just go into my fridge and then leave, or like it's like we have like ways of doing things.
Shit in my toilet and don't flush.
Yeah, exactly. Like like
you take your shoes off before you enter into my house.
Exactly. We do all these
things. Wipe your feet before you step in and take your shoes off.
Because could you imagine if we stop doing that? We're going to start going to war, right? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's like we do these things because we like, hey, if we don't do this, like we aren't going to have a society. And that's been taken for granted, right? And I think that's part of what I think this next phase of human evolution is that we have to initiate women into their warriors, so that way they understand honor, right? Or here's an example of here's a perfect example of the warrior encapsulated, right? It's this like a Japanese samurai, right? He needs, or not a samurai, ninja, right? He has to assassinate someone, so he slips in the dead of night to assassinate his target, right? And right before he stabs him and kills him with a sword, the guy says something to him that really pisses him off. So he stops and he goes back home and he prays, right? Calms down. The next day he comes back and kills him. So what's the point? The point is he's not doing what he does out of anger, right? He's doing it for a certain reason. And so if he finds himself where he's doing anything out of the reason that he's doing it, he goes back and resets and he comes back and then he does it, right? Like that whole
the action has to be righteous. The action has to be righteous to the point. You cannot allow emotions to get in your way or cloud your judgment.
Exactly.
That's why before they go out and do their things, they have to meditate.
Exactly.
It would go against this code of conduct and virtues.
Exactly. And that whole thing, like, do you know how long it's gonna like if you find someone that you want to get married to, you get married. Do you know how long it would take you to get her to understand that? Like, I've been with my wife for like 20 years. She's just now like, we just finished watching Dragon Ball Daima, and she liked it, and she understands like Goku, because I've drilled it in her head. I'm like, Goku is essentially a symbol for never giving up and keeping a positive mental attitude, always, like always. And if you see something that's hard, you run toward it, smiling, right? And it's like, because she'll be dealing with stuff at work, she'll be dealing with this and that, and it's like I use it as an example. It's just like at a certain point, you just got to have a positive attitude, right? And you just got to go toward it. That's a good example of like kind of like the warrior right there.
I've also understood it like this, like not everybody's meant to be a warrior. You need your some of us are meant to be. I mean, like you got mobile, like in the military itself. You have your reconnaissance scouts. You have your mobile infantry. You have our artillery. You have your communications. You got your cavalry. You have logistics, snipers. You have the elites. You have the support network.
You have
Yeah, you have to have you have field officers, you have intelligence officers, communications officers, staff
But
officers.
what I'll say, Nema, they're all
Hmm.
what I'm talking about isn't literally being a ninja or a soldier. It's an energy. It's an energy
Yeah, I get
that
it.
makes us
Everyone
human.
plays it, but everyone has their position to play. Is what I'm trying to say, and we all
Yeah.
have to respect each other's position. It's just like also like if you were in medieval times, you have the blacksmiths. You know, you have your warlocks. You have your priests or something like that. You know, you have your intelligence off. You have people who are spies and intelligence. You have people who are in medicine and whatnot. Your healers. I don't know if you ever played a video game called Age of Empires.
I've heard of it. I've never played it.
Yeah, it was by Microsoft. It had, you know, I played that. I played the demo of the first one and the second one. And, you know, every person has their, and plus you also have people in who are not combative situations. You know, you have your peasants, your serfs, the nobility. Everyone has their position in life. The problem, however, is everyone has to understand there's a balance and there's a duty, there's a sense of duty, but at the same time, hierarchies are needed because somebody needs to rule, because you know some people need to be led and some people need to lead. I remember Seneca once said, destiny leads the willing and drags the reluctant.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, you brought up kings. Here's the thing. We especially we have this aversion kind of in our society of it's the whole reason America was created, because we don't like kings, but at the same time we idolize CEOs and super rich people. But let's go back in time and let's look at tribal societies and let's look at what the origin of the king. Do you know in some tribes and some cultures the king can't leave his hut? He can't touch the ground. That's the origin of the red carpet. You know the red carpet you see for Hollywood?
Yeah.
It's the carpet they would roll out for some type of kings in certain cultures because they couldn't touch the ground. If they touched the ground, their power would be drained, and that means they're no longer holy. What does that mean for the king? He must be killed.
The crown, in a way, is another imprisonment.
Exactly, and so
you are a servant, or like how the chief has to lead by example because he cannot just command people in a small village.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and people don't understand. People don't understand it. Like in a lot of cultures, it's like, the crops died this year. You prayed for rain, king. What happened? And he's like, hey, look, I did all the things. And they're like, well, it looks like we have your replacement. And they drop you two off an island, and the replacement has to kill the old king. I mean, this is the brutal reality.
You have the healer, the medicine man, the witch doctor. Yeah.
The kings didn't last long if they didn't do what they needed to do for the society. And what we've kind of done with capitalism is shielded our quote unquote nobility and kings away from the repercussions of their actions, kind of thing.
No more guillotine, because after what happened with France.
Exactly.
They said, we got to.
And they went overboard with that. And they went overboard with the guillotine, man.
They went overboard. Yeah. Yeah, they destroyed their society.
They went out of control because it was like political violence. Because once you remove the king and everything, you try to set up a democracy, things went completely left because because you had these puritanical groups, everyone was fighting for a position. You had this factionalism that just went way out of control.
I mean, they started executing their political allies who were supporting the revolution.
What happens when you don't have enough people to hate? You start creating people to hate. So
that was the problem with. That was the. Go ahead.
I mean, look at who was the first king of Israel.
Saul.
Why did they want a king?
They want to be like everybody else. And Samuel looked at them and said, do you realize what you're asking them for? Or do you realize what you're asking for?
But they begged. They begged for a king.
They said they didn't understand because, and Samuel, who was like That's one of my favorite books, by the way.
And
First book of Samuel.
what was Israel ruled by or governed by before kings?
The priests, the judges,
They
and
were
Samuel was a judge.
they were they were governed by judges.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
And
think.
Samuel, go ahead.
You got to think. Was anything wrong with the 12 tribes when they had judges?
No,
No.
everything was just in check because they were here. Because the judges, first of all, were also priests, and they served God and they did God's will, and they kept His law.
Yeah, as long as they followed the law, it was just.
It was just.
So when now you want a king because you wanted to be like everybody else.
Do you understand what that means? And so
Look at
Samuel
that.
prayed to God and said, should they give him? He said, God said, give him a king. But he also let them know, hey, this is what's going to happen if you have a king. He will take your lands. He will take your sons. He will take your flock. He will take your freedom.
And he has
And
the
that's how
authority.
Saul.
He has the
Mm-hmm.
authority to do yourself. What was
Yeah.
Saul's biggest fuck up?
What was it? What was it?
Didn't he worship a false idol or something like that?
His biggest fuck
No.
up. His biggest fuck up is that Samuel said, "You go against these. I forget what kingdom it was. Destroy every
Philistines, I
man,
think.
destroy every man, woman, and child. Don't take any of their possessions. Don't take any of their things. Burn it." So they leave. They leave a couple of people to be enslaved or to be
Mm-hmm.
humiliated, and they took a few things. So now God's pissed with them. So he says,
Mm-hmm.
"Yep,
You went against God's. You went against God's command.
yep." And you
And
got
what happens?
up. Samuel says, "Hey, Jesse, bring your youngest boy out. Hey, guess what, Shepherd boy? You gonna be the new king."
Before that, I remember, was it like when Samuel retired, he toured all of Israel, he toured all of Judea, and he talked to everybody, and he warned them to always hold their leaders accountable because the leaders are, at the end of the day, servants of the people. You know, just like how George Carlin said, a president is a public servant. So get me a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
You are beholden to the people you serve.
Here's
People have to remember they hold their leaders accountable.
here's the slight misconception.
Mm-hmm.
You're a public servant
Mm-hmm.
given a higher office, meaning police officers, public servants. Should they be given respect and power above normal citizens? Yes. Are they going to be held accountable higher than a normal citizen? Yes.
Yes.
But should they have the respect and authority above normal citizens? Yes.
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 Why?
You're there to enforce the law and protect and serve the people.
And then on top of that, they do a job that 99% of people cannot do at some capacity.
I mean,
With
what do Congress say? I'm here to represent my constituency.
Yeah, that's
yep,
right. Yeah. Ooh. But, nowadays Congress are beholden to who?
The
themselves,
banks.
The corporations, the
Corporations.
lobbyists.
Campaign contributors.
their greedy needs.
It was Alonzo Bowden who said this. He said something really insightful. He said, from now on, congressmen, Congress people, the people in Congress, they should wear suits similar to the jumpsuits that NASCAR drivers wear. Just so you know who they're beholden to.
That's fire. Yeah, that's a good idea. There's a lot of changes they could make. I mean, honestly, that change isn't that far fetched considering. I mean, hey, it'd be free advertising, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we do see that in other sports, and it's like if you want people to watch, I think making what they do more visual, right? Like could help. So yeah, wear a jumpsuit with all your patches on there. Let me see who's buying you.
Didn't they do that in the movie Idiocracy?
I think so.
Oh my God, we're living in it.
It's a scary ass thought, huh? Scary ass sight, isn't it?
You know what's even scarier? It's that like I'm all for pushing the technology forward for AI, and like even if it's like a little bit of a loss leader, you kind of gotta spend the money to develop the technology so that way we have it in 50 years. It's just like, but like everyone keeps going for like the artificial general intelligence instead of like there's a lot of just like single use dumb applications that the technology could be used for right now, but they keep trying to build like the AI god. It's like, man, if anything that's going to crash the economy, it's that. It's just like, why are you guys not building? Like they keep talking about building, like for instance, Elon talking about all these robots and shit. It's just like they could be building better, like I don't know, like automated lawnmowers or like I don't know, like automated sentries. Like let's say you go camping, right? Have like a fucking robot that like roams around and like scares off bears and shit. I don't know, like just like stuff that's cheap that makes sense for people, right? Like I think people would buy that kind of shit. I don't know. I went on a tangent there, but it's just like that. That's where we're at right now with all the money spent on AI, and it's like these guys are supposed to be smart, and they don't know how to make just easy products for people. It's kind of crazy.
Well, that's the thing right there, you know? Like,
Yeah.
what was it Chris Rock said? Is that like, they can make a car that can last 50 years, but they won't do it because it's not profitable. Oh, look who's here. We got Jesse. Jesse. Come on up, Jesse.
They don't know what'll be profitable. I think that's the problem. I think
No,
long
it's
over
like
are the days.
short-term profits.
Yeah, like
Short-term
long.
profits.
These guys aren't like Henry Ford that actually built the shit. Like they don't care. They went to business school and they're just juicing it, and they don't understand
Mhm.
products or you know consumers or anything like that, right? Because it's like you can people will pay premiums for not getting quite as much as it was advertised as long as it works, and shit's just not working out anymore. Shit's like shit doesn't last anymore. Shit's service is terrible. It's like it don't even make sense. We're not even doing the basics anymore.
The roads are shit.
The roads are shit.
You got to think about it. You have poor quality. You have no one who takes. We don't really have ingenuity.
Exactly.
How many people even take pride in their work? No, it's not take pride, but are just have a sense of fulfillment in the work they do.
Some people don't even have to take pride in their next breath.
And they take it for granted that breath, that next breath.
A lot of people, when you think about it, it's funny because I'm texting my ex now on a TikTok, and she says, "I really wish nobody. I'm tired of getting hit on my bed." I said, "You say that now." Because I always tell women, y'all keep talking about y'all don't like men hitting on you, but when men stop, where did all the men go?
I think she's just bragging that she's getting hit on. That's all she's doing.
Yeah,
That's
she's
all they ever.
bragging, low key bragging.
That's all
I
they
tell
ever do.
people it doesn't bother me. I'm like, You're a female. Men are gonna do that.
Exactly.
I said, it's not impressive for me for a woman to get hit on. If a man gets hit on, that's impressive because women try to keep their cards close to their chest.
Hmm.
But hey, this is the world they asked for. So, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, they asked for me too. So when men act away, why can't men approach us? Why should we? Think about it. If you took more time, let's say you pursuing a girl, you talking on the phone, you laying in the bed, got your feet kicked up, sounding like a new edition song and shit.
Uh-huh.
Instead of that, you put that same time into the language, learning a skill, going to the gym, doing something, reading a book. You know, at some point you're gonna be like, wow, I could have really done something with my life.
Yeah.
It's funny. She says, I think I'm over romanticizing relationships and situationships. I just prefer to be a friend. Now, this is a woman who was married to a white guy, two kids. Of course, they're both mixed. But you
Why didn't it
married,
work out?
even though he was in the army, you basically married the white version of a fucking homosexual. Like,
So she got a bottom shelf Brad, pretty much.
well, of course, bottom shelf bread. And they're divorcing or permanently separated, as I call it. And what's funny is women women don't know boundaries, and when they don't know boundaries, men play them accordingly. Oh, you let him do this, you let him do that. The kids live with him one time, then they live with you. Where's the boundaries? If you think about it, women will marry lesser men and try to make a whole family out of it. But if you have a man with a standard, it does it. That's why I've never been married. Most women don't want to go to a standard. Like,
They don't.
why?
They don't like discipline, man. They don't
Why?
like discipline.
No, they don't. Why would you fucking? Why would you drive drunk and then drink some more in the car? You just asking.
Oh, that's different. Yeah, that's
You're
different.
you're asking for either to get stopped by the police, crash your vehicle, or pass out in your vehicle. And if your door's open, God forbid, somebody pull you out and do what they want with you. What are you gonna? And we don't live in the same world because women have been taught that they can't be responsible for themselves. Just like I had this one chick at her job. She talks about, why is this older 60-year-old guy looking at the 19, 20-year-olds? They young. I said, why would you want to look at a frumpy fucking 35, 40-year-old? I said, how many
Well, I
times do
think
you
No, go ahead.
go
Sorry, I
ahead?
didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm gonna just
No,
finish
no.
it with this real
Yeah.
quick. Um, and she said, well, I said, but don't you like older guys? Well, yeah, but it's the thing. I'm in my 30s. I said, so why do you think older guys like younger women? Because we like showroom floors. We don't want beat up hoopies. But go ahead.
Ooh.
No. But I mean, I think what's really astounding, and again, this is something I have to like recalibrate myself every day, is they really do not understand men. They don't. And even when you're telling them this is what the answer is, they're like, it can't just be that. It's got to be something else, right? And
They think it
so
has to be more complicated.
it has to be more complicated, or they just don't. And another thing too, I got to find the video, but basically, since like the late 1800s, there's been a war on male desire, and that's kind of the nugget in the center of like the feminist movement. It's like it's not just for rights, right? It's the idea that male desire, male sexuality is just plain disgusting and animalistic and should be eradicated, right? And so when you get anytime you got women that are like really in feminism, they don't understand that they've been subconsciously programmed to hate men's desires. Even the ones that like the Kim Kardashians, the sex bots, ones that like are quote unquote sluts, it's like they have to become sluts to even get a sense of what guys want, because they've been so indoctrinated against understanding male desire, right? And even just beyond that, men are like mysteries to women, right? Like the fairy tale Beauty and the Beast gives you an example of women's relationship with men. 100%. The Beast to Belle is her animus. It's her subconscious, unconscious representation of masculine energy. That's what we are for most women who don't get in touch with it. But what happens when she gets in touch with it? He becomes a prince again. That's essentially that's essentially their hero's journey. That's one of their hero's journey. It's confronting their animus, their beast, kissing their frog and turning them into a prince. Right? It's a subconscious, it's a psychological journey of going into your shadow and dealing with what they think about men and being able to turn it into something positive. And it's the same thing with women, right? It's just like it's being able to go inside and all the negative things that we talk about in this space. Well, you're still, if you want to deal with women, these are the things you're going to have to deal with. And so you're going to have to reconceptualize it into something positive, because you can't deal with it and it be negative, right? Like it has to be, you have to want to play the game or else don't play the game. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, as the saying
goes,
you can either understand women or you can love them.
Or love them.
You can't
do both.
Oh, 100%.
You can't do both.
Yeah, 100%. There it is.
With that being said, I mean, let me put it this way. On the physiological aspect of it, men are willing to open up a book on gynecology to understand female anatomy and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
What woman do you know would pick up a book on andrology, which is the study of the male physiology?
Well, because they don't have it's the discipline, it's the warrior thing again, right? Mm-hmm. They don't have it. You need warriors. All warrior means is like, I can be disciplined. I can get things done without needing a reward. Mm-hmm. I can just do it. And I'm telling you to their core, if you say no, if you say we have to do the unfun things, they want to kill you. Like, and it's like, it takes so long to get past that initial, no, we can't do that, and they want to fucking go against you. Like it's like, because it's because they don't know how to do it for themselves. Like I don't think people understand.
I remember, yeah.
Go ahead.
I remember, and there's a story I got to tell. I remember I was involved with somebody for a while up here in Norway, and I remember I was supposed to meet her that we were planning to meet up later that weekend. But it was like on a Wednesday night. Was it Thursday? No, Thursday night. Sorry. It was like a Thursday night. I get a call from her. It's 11 p.m. I'm in bed because I had stuff to do in the morning. I get a call from her. I'm like, hi. She calls me and says, why don't you come on over? Now, she lives quite away from where I was, which means I would have to take a bus, and the buses were not available at that hour. And for some reason, I could hear in her voice, I'm like, where have you been? I said, oh, I was out and about. I was out with some colleagues of mine and everything. I said, had you all been drinking? Yeah. I said, oh. So I knew exactly, no, I can't do this. Get some sleep. We'll meet up tomorrow like we're supposed to. And this was not the first time she did this. There was another occasion, and realized, she'd been drunk, she'd been drinking. She was inebriated, but I realized Not a good thing. And that's a discipline you need to understand, because you understand actions have consequences
Mm-hmm.
and why you shouldn't do certain things.
They
And in
don't.
my case, I knew I would catch a case because, you know,
Oh, 100%.
I'm black, she's white. That's actually, you know, that's a case. That's an assault case right there.
And part of that not having that discipline, that warrior, is not understanding how to fight fair. And so that's the biggest thing with relationships. It's just like you're just having a talk about something, and they hit you with like a
Mhm.
nuclear bomb. Like they'll say something, like it's just like, you're like, why are you coming at me so hard, and over something that most people would think is not a reason to be coming that hard for, right? And you know, this is just part of the, unless they had a proper mother and father showing them how to have proper conversations and fights as a you know, couple, they're not
As
going to
a,
know.
as a couple, yeah.
And the problem is, that's why this is why I got so deep into psychology, because what I realized, and that's why I got to really start my channel, because number one, there aren't enough therapists in the world for everyone to have a therapist. So the logic meaning most people are going to have to fix themselves. Okay. So I spent a lot of time, that's just a little bit of that I learned from my journey. But another thing is, okay, you're in a relationship, you're having issues, you go, okay, let's go to a relationship counselor. Well, the problem is there's so many different fields of psychology, and understanding their theory of psychology will tell you what they're going to prescribe. And then another even deeper issue is, a lot of them will just have you come to these therapy sessions and just fight it out. And you're never supposed to fight in a relationship. You should not be fighting, saying mean things to each other. You should be keeping it polite, nice all the time, even if it's a little bit fake, because you're going to be with this person for a long time, and the stuff starts building up on both sides. So you have to go over and above. And so, especially when you're fighting, you have to be able to step out. And so I got this from the only effective therapy that works. It's called emotionally focused therapy. The book is called Hold Me Tightly. And essentially, to wrap it up, is you have to be able to step outside of yourself and say, hey, we're doing that thing again. You got to be able to call it like, oh, call it a dance, where you guys get into the fight and you say this, and then she says this, and then I go here. You got to step out and be, oh, we're doing the thing again. Why are we doing the thing again? And then she's got to be able to say, because I felt like the intimacy got, something happened, and then and the guy can say, well, I feel like my independence is being whatever. You got to be able to say what the thing is behind the thing, and you got to quickly be able to come back to center. And very few people teach that skill, right? Some women naturally just have it because they're feminine and they're nice and they don't want to fight, and so that's how they're able to keep the relationship going, and they know how to fight. But that's the only way to exist in a relationship, is to be able to have that skill. It's like, oh, we're doing it again, step out, and then talk about the thing behind the thing, and then figure out ways to give each other the thing behind the thing. And no one teaches that. That's the only way it can work. It doesn't work any other way.
Hey, what's good, Coffee? Coffee, what's up, man? How you been, Nino? There's somebody in the chat I mentioned, but to your point, McDrama Bear, are you familiar with somebody named Dr. John Gottman?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, BJS has mentioned him a couple of times. He's a couples therapist and whatnot. After two of his marriages, I think one or two of his marriages failed. When he met his current wife, he tried to figure out, where am I going wrong? Why is people acting the same way? And he realized, first of all, a relationship is doomed to failure if either or both partners come into this relationship harboring some kind of contempt, resentment, or animosity to the other. And that's the one thing like black men have to deal with, is the low level contempt that black women have for them. It's also like, do you remember the show Breaking Bad? You ever seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Look at what happened with Walter and Skylar. She had some level of contempt and resentment for him, and she was no saint herself. Came to the point that he even went as far as to kidnap their own their baby daughter. So there was tension, there was buildup, there was resentment, especially the way things were going, and when he got his cancer diagnosis.
Mm.
You know.
Well, these are
and this
things,
is before he decided to. Yeah.
No, yeah, do the thing. Well, these are and this is the game that you really need to be put on when you're young. So when you're vetting,
Mm-hmm.
you know what you're looking for. Because of course you want something that's pleasing to the eye, right? But then all those other intangibles, it's like, well, what do you do? And then people fall back, well, I want someone that believes in God and this kind of stuff, and that's fine. But that, I mean, we know in the Black church that doesn't necessarily mean she's even really believing the things she says she believes, right? But I mean, I think the most important thing is you look at the relationship their parents have, right? Does she come from a relationship where like she was loved and the parents love each other? Because that means that she has a secure attachment style, and having a secure attachment style means she's less to do crazy things in a relationship.
Yeah.
So that would be the first thing I would check. I would just think, what are the parents
Mm-hmm.
like? What do the parents do? Right? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go from there. I mean, I don't, if I were to start over now, I mean, yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to go to another country, or, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I would be so like doing like it was a job resume, right? I would almost like not worry about the recreational part when I got to that part. I'd be like, I would be like, say you vet them and you'd be like, okay, I'm going to slow on the recreation part just to ensure that this person isn't crazy. And then I don't like, because once you cross the recreation line, the crazy starts coming out. I mean, you got to
By the
just have a
way,
full strategy. You got to have a strategy.
mm-hmm.
You can't just go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean,
When it comes to
if you're going
psychology
to
and what,
splice DNA with them and create a whole
mm-hmm.
human being,
Exactly.
that sounds important.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. In my case, to your point earlier about psychology and different theories and whatnot, let's not forget also the level of bias among certain therapists.
Yeah.
I mean, I can give you, like, for example, in my case, because I have borderline personality disorder, a lot of people, that is a disorder that is highly stigmatized by most therapists.
Yep.
Because they don't have the constitution to deal with it. When the people look at me, AKA emotional unstable personality disorder.
Oh, he's a borderline. And because a lot of time with the borderlines is because you're able to see through the therapist and you're able to call them on their shit, and they don't like that because
I'm empathetic, and I understand that. So the thing is also is like but go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'll just say this quickly. A lot of therapists, I mean, in order for therapy to work, it has to have that a transference. So like you have to look up to your therapist in a kind of way, right? Like you have to really be open and look up to the therapist. And I think with borderlines, that's kind of hard to do, right? Like I think and I think the therapists don't realize, and I think with a lot of therapists, their ego is wrapped up in being idolized by their patient, right? And so when that doesn't happen, it's kind of hard for them to so it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not a problem with you, it's a problem with them and their training.
It's also in my case, it's also for the borderline. Sometimes if you do find a good therapist, you have to learn to not to become attached to that person, because we do have like unhealthy attachments. And for a borderline, the worst thing is like you come into contact with somebody who may have narcissistic or antisocial personality disorders, because that's a person who you end up drawing if you're not in tune with what you are. And I've been around enough narcissists in my life to understand that, the narcissistic abuse, and I have to protect myself that much. But the thing is about me is like, when I interact with certain people, because I talk with them in such a way, they just open up to me very easily. and I can understand why they do the things they do. And like, I don't judge. I say, oh, that makes sense, and I see why you do it. And like, you understand? I said, I do, but I don't really tell a lot of people that I am that way.
Mm-hmm.
The only person I ever did that to was like somebody who opened up to me that they were borderline, and I just wanted to hug them because I understand their pain and suffering, even though the disorder affects them differently. I just understood that, and they're like, "How do you understand?" Because I said, I have that thing, but I also understand it's like also seeing why people are the way they are, and you have to understand like, and you gain when you get your diagnosis, like I did, thankfully, you understand like you gain a greater sense of self-awareness, even though I still have to deal with my own issues even now, and you understand the dangers that can sometimes have when you get attached to certain people, or because sometimes when someone severs ties with you, it triggers your sense of abandonment, which is something that can be used to manipulate me, and I don't like that. And I had to learn to let go.
Yep. Again, see, we keep talking. You see how we keep coming back to that warrior stuff. And again, like, I don't know what kind of therapy, like, you got the Freudians, you got Adlerian. I mean, I am very much partial to Jungian psychology, depth psychology, because obviously there's levels to it. Like, there is diagnosable things, and it's sounding like you're saying you have a diagnosable thing, and so that there's a layer of like, okay, when it's diagnosable, there isn't very much difference in terms of how people handle DSM. I don't know, is it 5, 6 now, whatever. Like, anything that's in there, it's kind of like, this is what we do to treat it, right? But then underneath that, you still have the whole human condition, right? Like, and that never gets treated. And I think that's the part that everyone wants to, like, talk about, like, what happened to you in your childhood, or your sexual dysfunctions, or maybe do some dream interpretation, this and that. But it's just like, no one's really just talking about like how to deal with being human, right? And how that then interacts with our individual issues, right? And most therapists don't do it, because it's like, again, and that's why I'm going really deep into Jungian stuff. I really got to start doing more content, because it's like, it's the only psychology that like looks at culture and religion and the things that make us human, and then factors that into the theory, right? You're not going to get that from an Adlerian or Freudian or cognitive behavior therapy, or acceptance, what is it, ACT. There's so many therapies, and they're all great for specific narrow things. But then when you're like, at the end of the day, at the bare basic, what's the issue that we all have? What I say is that we're looking for meaning. We're looking for meaning because when we find meaning, we feel alive. We feel numinous. We feel, I'm going to really jump the shark. We feel in touch with God, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone, like again, I don't want to take a stance on, is there a God? Isn't there a God? I do think there's something going on outside of us when we die, right? But we can't really, but there's no reason really to talk about that, because no one really in our lifetimes come back and say, hey guys, this is how it is, right? But what we can say is, we do have the experience of holiness. Like, we do have that feeling, right? That's real. We do experience that feeling, okay? And I do believe that feeling is tied to whatever happens to us outside. But let's discard that, because people want to war over that, and that doesn't matter. What matters is we all have access to that feeling, and we get that feeling by finding meaning in life. How do you find meaning in life? I would say start with firming up your body. Get your warrior together. You got to have a workout routine. You got to be sleeping. You got to make sure your sexual function's working. You got to be making sure you're in line with it. You got to just get your warrior down. You got to get your lover together. That means you got to get your emotional intelligence together. You got to be able to relate with people without losing your temper. You have to be able to get excited about things that you really don't want to get excited about, but you got to get excited about it because you got to get it done, right? So you got to master the emotions. You got to master your magician. You got to learn how to learn. You have to learn how to see things in systems. You got to see the whole picture, right? And then you also have to learn how to be a king. You got to learn how to create. You got to take all your knowledge, synthesize it, and build in the real world. Those are the four main things. And if you keep doing those things, you can't do them all at once. You have to circle through them. Today, I'm going to work on my body. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on my emotions. The next day, I'm going to work on, my whole systems. And then the other day, I'm going to start building. And you just keep circling that. And then you're gonna just wake up and you're gonna see all the stuff you built and the wonderful life that you have, and you're like, God damn, I have meaning in my life. I mean, that's the closest thing I can give you to an answer. No one else can really give you an answer. But you have to have to find it through action.
You have to find meaning in your experiences in life sometimes. But you have to ask yourself, what the hell but are you conscious in that pursuit, first of all? Some people just do it on autopilot. See, there's that lack of self-awareness. So you have to know, because how many people are willing to sit alone in their own thoughts? I've done it. Sometimes I like to sit in the dark and try to make sense of things. But I was told, don't sit in the dark because that's when the bad thoughts come. And yeah, I have to deal with those bad thoughts. So I deal with intrusive thoughts. But you have to learn you have to understand who you are, and you have to reflect on who you are. I mean, just like what Jung said, thinking is hard. That's why it's easy for many people to criticize. Thinking is hard for so many people, and to think and to understand who you are and what you're about. And that's why some people just don't want to make sense of things. That's why some people rather be like, to quote Lee Haney, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. And he said, like, there's nothing wrong with having a healthy ego. That's why you have sheep and you have shepherds. Unfortunately, and then there's those of us have to realize you have to become a wolf. But you're like that wolf who sees eye to eye with the shepherd. You know your nature, he knows his nature, and he understands, I know what you're about. You are trying to get a meal out of one of these sheep. And it's my job to make sure that you don't. It's like, do you remember Warner Brothers? They had that cartoon of Sam the sheepdog and Ralph the wolf.
Is that Animaniacs? I don't know.
No. This is the old Warner Brother cartoons. Bugs Bunny, everybody. Remember, it was a sheepdog, and it was like it starts off.
He's talking about the sheepdog, and Wile E. Coyote.
And Wile E. Coyote, Sam and Ralph. Because remember, they come in. They usually see each other in the morning. They say, "Good morning." It's like a 9 to 5 for both of them. It's like, "Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Ralph." Ching ching. They check in, and for the next day, they're doing their thing, and then they break for lunch. Then they go back at it until the final whistle, and then they just check out. They understand what they are, and they're okay with each other. But they understand. But it's a game they play.
The acceptance of self is like the first step, right? And I think getting lost. You got to be careful with rumination, right? Being lost in thoughts without any purpose, right? Sometimes it's good to do that. And here's another reason why I'm super on the Jungian psychology. Here's the thing that Jung wanted, like, if his prized finding that he would want everyone to know about. And again, this gets buried and no one talks about it. If there's only one thing you could know about Jung, it's active imagination. Because that is his technique that he taught everyone in terms of how to fix themselves. What's active imagination? It's kind of like fantasizing, but it's not being lost in a fantasy. It's sitting down, right? Creating a place in your head. Maybe it's create a place, right? And you go in the place, and maybe you encounter someone in that place, right? And then what does that person say to you, right? And have that conversation. Still be yourself, but have the conversation with your, BGS says anima. It's just having that internal conversation with yourself, but you have to really make it real. Like, you got to go deep. Like, you got to make it like you're dreaming, like you're seeing it, like you're there, right? And it takes practice to do this. Like, I've read a lot.
Like a visualization?
It's a visualization.
Like a
right?
visualization exercise some people do, like especially with combat sports. Okay, go on.
Yes, it's a visualization exercise. But what it is it's like you have to create a very, very detailed picture of a place. Okay, it can be anything you want it to be, but I would make it similar all the time because you need to get good at it before you start doing creative, going crazy with it, right? And be able to move around in that place, and then maybe someone appears in that place. Don't try to make anything happen in that place, but when that person appears, have the conversation. And getting in that habit of being able to kind of do that thing. And because sometimes you're going to be like, am I just talking to myself? Like, am I just making that other thing talk? But when you get good at it, it's going to start saying things to you that you weren't consciously thinking. You're like, what the fuck? And that's how you have that conversation with your unconscious, right? And you get really good at doing that. Still being yourself. Don't let it take over. If it's a demon, don't have the conversation with the demon. Say, I don't want to talk to you, right? Like you got to be in charge of the thoughts that you're having. If things are appearing that you don't like, don't have a conversation with it, right? Say no. This shit is real. Like it sounds like I'm talking like I'm crazy, but this is like real shit. And this is all stuff that we can do. So you just got to get really good. I do it a lot of times. Like I'll do it like I'm like really into music, and I'll do it like I'm in the studio with so-and-so. And if I needed to make a song for so-and-so, and then I will just make the song, and I'm all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit. And then I have the melody or something. And so you
get the eureka moments.
Yes. So you can use it in a lot of different ways, but your imagination really is powerful, and it really is the tool to what are the deep thoughts that I'm having, and then having acceptance with those thoughts, and then figuring out how to integrate them with your conscious mind, right? Like if you have these thoughts, like I want to do bad things to people, don't get scared of that. Be like, wow, why am I having that thought? And figure out how to not necessarily integrate that thought in like, okay, I'm gonna find ways to kill people necessarily, but like, I don't know, you have to get real creative. You'd be surprised how many surgeons have those thoughts. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? How many world-class surgeons got there because they had these inklings of like wanting to cut people open. Like, do you understand? Do you know what I mean?
It's basically sadism. It's sadism, but it's done so in a constructive manner.
Right.
You're engaging in your sadistic side, but you're doing it in as a means to help and heal people.
That's if you have those sadistic. It's not always going to be that. But what I'm just giving you an example of like dark stuff that people were able to come to grips with and then integrate it and be normal people of society. Do you know what I mean? And so that
hey, I have graphic thoughts that I cannot express here on this stream because I don't want to get anybody flagged. But I get what you're getting at.
Yeah, we all do, dude. Anyone who says they don't, I feel bad for you because you do not have access to the raw power of your mind. Then, do you know what I mean? That means you're really stuck in a jail if you don't occasionally have thoughts like, holy shit. That means you're not really using your brain.
Oh man, some of those ideas I have is just that explains my frustration. But when you look into those dark sides, you have to understand the darker side of you, because you can't understand the dark side. You can't understand the good side of you without understanding the dark side of you. It's yin and yang. There's a duality. You cannot know who yourself is without understanding your shadow.
Well, this is it's a religious thing, because it's like it's the reason why people don't get religion correctly. They don't do it right because they're doing the good bad thing. I'm doing religion, so I must be good. Everyone else does bad, and now they've split themselves off from experiencing their negativity. Because guess what? We all have the capacity to do very egregious things, to annihilate whole groups of people. It's all in all of us, right? People don't want to accept that, right? And so the real way to be a Christian is to be, I am a sinner. Always am I a sinner. I'm never not a sinner. I am at the lowest of the low of the low, and I just do the best I can every day. That's the only way to be a Christian. But most people are like, I'm good, I'm this. It's like, no, you've already split off and you're literally evil and you don't see it. So you're probably doing all types of stuff that's really bad. But because you split off from it, you're literally not seeing it.
Some
You know what I
people
mean? It's
just
like a fish in the
disconnect,
water.
or it's a disconnect or disassociation from reality in a sense. You don't want to understand that you're a human being.
100%.
You don't want to understand all aspects of your humanity and your nature. And that just shows you how little people like self-reflect. And self-reflecting is hard. It's just like Jung said, like I said, thinking is hard for people. Self-reflecting is hard. I remember, to your point earlier about when you get involved with somebody, meet their parents. And I've met some people with good parents. I've met people who have had dysfunctional relationships with their parents. And I see why they are the way they are. But for my own well-being, I had to sever ties with them for one reason or another. But it just shows you why. And also for like African Americans, Afro Canadians, Afro Caribbeans, Afro Latinos, the disconnect you guys have from the motherland, and Africans ourselves, and also Afro Middle Easterners, the same thing, or Africans themselves. There is a disconnect we all have from the ancestors, and how much we need to do some shadow work and self-reflection and try to figure out why are we the way we are. But the pressures and stresses of life are such a distraction that some people just never get there. Well, most people never get there. Very few can get there or have the luxury to do it. Like they say, I don't have time. I got to do this. I got to take care of that. And their minds are just on autopilot, trying to survive, trying to think. And stress will kill you in the process. And to be a warrior, that warrior spirit sometimes is not there for some people. And this is why sometimes I look at I remember looking at a documentary about iboga, if you know what that is.
Yeah, the boga, it's the root that basically helps you quit drugs after you trip for a day or two.
What it does is just rewires your brain in a way. It's similar to ayahuasca.
It's different, but yeah, I know what you mean. The ayahuasca doesn't do what
it's just
boga does, but yeah, it makes you trip, but it doesn't seem to make you quit drugs like a boga does. And boga is very weird like that.
Iboga is used for, but if you go to places like Gabon, where their people met traditional healers do it, they have rituals and everything that go with it, and they have to guide you through through the process of it. Just the same way, if you go to they have to, because and those people they've had to undergo training, years of training to do that.
Yeah,
just
I'm glad you brought up the ritual thing. I'm just really quickly because I don't know if you've heard of Brian Johnson. He's like that billionaire that's trying to stay young. You know who I'm talking about?
Maybe.
He's like this white dude who's he's doing all the health drugs and he's just experimenting on himself to stay young. Whatever. I think last week or very recently he streamed himself. He took 5 grams of mushrooms and streamed himself on psychedelics. And it's just when I read that and I'm like, I think people don't realize it's the rituals were the part that were the most important part of the ayahuasca ceremony, not the ayahuasca.
The ayahuasca, the ceremonies, I mean, the shamans, the shamans are supposed to guide you through the whole process.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just when they give you especially when it comes to taking the peyote cacti or psilocybin mushrooms. I mean, psilocybin mushrooms have been proven to be helpful to people with depression. Hell, they help people with OCD, and I have OCD, so I got to worry about that shit. But they've also been proven to be helpful to people with cluster headaches. But the thing is when you take these things and you trip out, or DMT for that matter, you need to be under a controlled environment and have a strict supervision, because you have to have some people help you, guide you through the thing. Otherwise, you can end up going through if it's a bad trip, it could cause certain things like psychosis and whatnot, which is why I cannot take certain these things. I'm prone to psychosis.
I don't think people should I got my vices. I've done so many psychedelics. I've done that, and I've had my moments because you
Mm-hmm.
can hear how I talk. Like, I'm open to experiences. I'm able to synthesize it and get what I need out of it, right? Most
Mm-hmm.
people are not doing like the deep work that I'm doing and are trying to do that, right? And
Yeah.
you need a whole life of preparing before you even kind of do those things. And that's another thing. People,
Mm-hmm.
even if you have the shaman, you don't have the years of culture that they trained you. Like, so like there is no such thing as a bad trip with them, because their mind
Yeah.
doesn't
The
work that way.
shaman
You know
will
what I
tell
mean?
you, hey, I mean, the shaman will tell you that, even the shaman will look at you. I mean, because shamans, they have to read you, right? And
Mhm.
there was one person, a journalist, he talked to a shaman and like said, so you can just look at a person, tell what's wrong with them, right? He said, yeah. So what's wrong with me? He said, well, first of all, I cannot put you through ayahuasca because
Mhm.
you have a lot of emotional baggage. You have some emotional problems you need to come to terms with. First of all, you need to work that out before I can even even be subjected to this. Because if I put you through this while you have still these emotional problems, you're gonna just, it could affect you negatively.
Yeah, it's almost certainly, for most people, it's so hard to control, because we
Mm-hmm.
weren't just like, we weren't raised properly. Like, in
Yeah.
America, we aren't raised with the proper mind to handle God, really. Because you got to understand, these cultures, like pre-modern cultures, like their religion, their sense of God was in everything, and how they went to the
Animism.
bathroom, how they got the animism, but
Mm-hmm.
even Zoroastrianism, which is more
Mm-hmm.
monotheistic, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
they saw,
Zoroastrianism.
right? They fire is sacred. The elements are sacred. They don't pray to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, don't defile them. They are holy. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like,
Yeah.
the best we get with that is like a Barbie movie or a Marvel movie or something, like, or Stranger Things
The new
season 5,
Avatar,
the
the
new
new
Avatar.
Avatar movie. Because remember, they're talking about fire, and they say this is the most purest. This, like I saw the trailer, and the woman, the leader of the fire tribe, she's like, fire. This is the most purest thing ever.
That's just
It
Zoroastrianism.
cleanses.
The whole thing
That's
is just stolen
Zoroastrianism.
from Zoroastrianism. The whole thing is, but
Mm-hmm.
my point is, we only
Mm-hmm.
pray to corporate things. That's the closest, like Christmas and gifts and stuff. It's like, that's the
Mm-hmm.
closest we get to that numinous feeling in our culture, and it's like 1% of 1% of what it means to be living as a human. And when they say make America great again, or let's go back to a tribal living, we don't really want to go back, because there were terrible things. But what we want to capture, and again, this is content I really need to start working on, is infusing everything around us with meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you need to make your life dramatically smaller. I would do that, so that way every single thing you look at in your room, on your body, in your car, on your way to work, you look at and you're like, God damn, it's amazing to be alive. I love all this shit. I love life. If you're not feeling like that, that's how you need to be arranging your life. And the problem is, it's hard to figure out as an individual. Like, whole cultures would set it up, and you would just be born into this, right? But that's the
Yeah.
stakes right now. And so that's why, like, people like play around. They want to be playing video games and they want to do all this shit. It's like, the stakes are, we have to figure out how to access the holy, and then we have to give that to other people. Like, that's really the crisis that's happening in the world right now. It's like, it's not
Mm-hmm.
just people aren't going to church. It's, we don't know how to find the holy anymore. We can go to World War I,
Mm-hmm.
World War II, all that kind of stuff. But that's the stakes right now. It's just like, there is going to be no peace without that.
It's interesting you mentioned like video games and whatnot, because there was a game I remember playing. It's a PSN game on my PS4. It's one of the first games I ever got on PS4. It's called Fractured Mind.
I might have heard.
It's a simple game. It was created by a young woman. It won a BAFTA by a young English developer. It won a BAFTA award for design and whatnot. The purpose of the game was to raise awareness about mental health, primarily anxiety and depression and everything that goes with it. And it does delve into some darkness and whatnot, but the point of it is for you to come face to face with your trauma, your fears, your anxiety, and overcome it and realize that evil creature that's with you, that's also that's not an evil creature actually. That's just your anima. That's your shadow. I remember hang on a second, let me look this up. There's another game, it was published by EA. Hold on, let me find it. Because I remember playing this game as well on my PS4. It's an Eat by EA. It's called Something Within. It was developed by a German company. Hang on a second. Let me get my trophy list.
It's my bad, man. I took over. I'm sorry for taking over the panel like that.
Oh, Sea of Solitude. No. We're building here, man. This is building. The game is called Sea of Solitude.
No. Fuck you. Fuck you taking over the thing. Fuck you,
Yeah, I
neighbor.
took over, bro. That's my bad.
Yeah. Anyway, the game is called Sea of Solitude, and it's basically a young woman having to deal with personal matters, and she has to go right into. It's a type of dream she has to go into just to come face to face with who and what she is and her nature. And she has to come and she has to understand shadow work and everything. It was a beautiful game anyway. It's about emotion. It's an emotional metaphoric journey, and you have to face the monsters within. It's about and it's basically like a action adventure where there's also a puzzle, a lot of puzzles, puzzle solving, whatnot. So basically, it's like basically you're going into yourself and trying to reclaim your humanity in the process. It was a beautiful game. I loved how it was played and everything.
I know we're talking about media. This is like a change of subject, but what do you guys think is going to happen now that Netflix has bought Warner Brothers?
What happened?
Did you hear that
Netflix bought Warner Brothers?
Snyderverse.
Here's my question.
Snyderverse, come back.
I hope so.
Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Bring it back. Fuck
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's my question. What becomes of HBO Max?
I know. That's what I'm trying to say.
They might keep it.
Well, my biggest problem with HBO Max is it's region locked, just like Netflix. Because, if I try to use a VPN, it won't allow me access to it because like on the US side, the HBO Max, at the shows like the Boondocks and whatnot, I can't get access to those over here in Norway. I guess I got to talk to customer service about that one. But if that's true, what they did, there's no more Warner Brothers, no more of this. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean it's a done deal. I mean they have a $5 billion backup clause, so they have to do it, or they got to pay $5 billion. So we'll see how it all sort of shapes out.
You're gonna get rid of a lot of woke shit.
What is sometimes I wonder what is woke, what is woke. I just think that a lot of the media is just being destroyed in a sense. I'm like, can you not interfere with everything? Why does everything have to be foisted upon people?
Well, you have to put a gay person in a movie, even though gay people are population.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you put it to you this way. Let's say you do a movie about the black community. Do you really have to put gay people in it?
Is it necessary to have a gay character? Why don't you have a character why don't you have a character who's in that movie, but it just so happens he is gay? But that person being gay isn't just the main thing about them.
Because it's called bad writing. Woke people don't write.
There's a thing called it's just like in professional wrestling. You have no character development. There's no depth into these characters. That's why you can't get into. That's why certain people don't get into certain shows, because like, what's the point of this character here? How do I relate to this character? Just because they're gay? No, come on, man. There are gay people whose favorite character happens to be a non-gay character or non-trans, whatnot, because they can relate to that character because there's something about that character that they see in themselves.
Well, you got to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a lot more masculinity back in cartoons and movies and shows.
Mm-hmm. Genuine masculinity too, not hyper masculinity.
You're not going to see a bunch of women. Oh, we could do it too. Because first and foremost, most of you bitches are scared that stamps. Y'all fell apart and stamps were, I'm a steal. No, you weren't. Get the fuck out of here.
Who remembers? Was it the all female cast of Ocean's 11, or the all female cast of Ghostbusters?
It sucked. Yeah,
all right. I mean, yeah. I mean, let me give you an example. Oh, Charles. There's a good friend of mine I have. She's a lesbian. And we had a conversation about TV shows and whatnot, like LGBT shows. I told her, you know that men and women are completely different. And she said, oh, yeah. I said, I can give you an example. Look at the LGBT community. You guys, men and women are equal. I mean, if you guys were equal, there would have been an all lesbian version of Queer Eye for the straight guy. Could you imagine that? And she's like, no, that wouldn't work. That would not work. So just like I said, just like you can't have a mainly gay version of the HBO show, The L Word. It wouldn't work. It doesn't have that same appeal.
Well,
just like
Charles, you said this before. Mm-hmm. So it's like the whole idea of like your sexuality being anything that describes you as like stupid. Like you shouldn't be talking about that. Like the whole argument I think what people have with the trans thing in school, it's like, why are you talking about sex around kids? Like we know this is like beyond the pale, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know it's beyond the pale. I mean, I saw a picture of it's supposed to be gay pride parties, and you're seeing guys wearing like choke masks in like thongs, and they're giving like sex toys to little girls in their pride parades. Like, how is this gay pride? Like, what if we had a straight parade and it's just a bunch of guys fucking girls on a tent on a freaking?
I've always said, could you take your kids to a Martin Luther King parade?
MLK or like the Million Man March?
Could you take them to a Christmas parade, a Thanksgiving parade, a Veterans parade?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
You could never really take a kid to an LGBT parade.
You can't.
No, you cannot, because even if it's a gay, if it's a couple who have kids, it just like it doesn't work like that. I remember AB and I had this conversation with AB once when we were talking about like there was a clip that we were discussing on the Coliseum, and I said, like, why can't we have these conversations if we're gonna have these conversations with children? It should be like similar to the Dutch model, where everything has to be gradual and age appropriate. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know there's going to be, because there are kids out there who are going to be, because kids are not as dumb as we think nowadays. They're more curious about things, but you have to understand, like, there's certain conversations you cannot have with them until they reach a certain age. But you know they're going to be asking questions like at a school, like, why does such and such have two moms? Why does such and such have two dads? What's going on here? This is confusing. And you have to sit them down and say, this is how it is, but you have to do it in a way they can understand. It's got to be age appropriate, and explain to them it doesn't give you a right to be disrespectful either.
But you can describe that whole situation without even having to talk about them scissoring each other or anything like that. Like you don't.
Yeah, that's what I said. Age appropriate. Age appropriate.
But in my opinion, even when you're talking to adults, like it doesn't matter. Like they could not scissor at all. They could just be like they just want to live together. Like it doesn't matter what like right like and like this is even a larger thing. Like I think the only way forward, especially for like, the only way forward is sex not being a big deal, because it ends up being the only thing that's used to shame black men, to get people out of office. It's like it's the dumbest
Mhm.
thing that can change people's life. It's like, oh, this person had sex with this person. Oh, destroy their life. And
It's
meanwhile,
a taboo subject. It's a taboo
meanwhile we have
subject in
more
a way
porn
because
than
like
ever. We have more porn than
mhm,
ever. We got trans in the
mhm.
school. It's like it's just a weird thing where it's just like we're more sexually liberated than we've ever been, right? But we're so interested in where people are, what people are doing with their genitalia. We know what they're doing. Why
And
does
that's
it
in the
matter?
US. And that's in the US because like in Europe they don't have those same hangups. The problem, however, is like, and I understand this because like in parts of Africa and in parts of traditional and certain traditional societies, some of their views are like go back to like outdated views that the West had in the past, like in the 1950s. But and but those have to be addressed because like there are very serious discussions that need to be had. I mean, you realize a lot of people in many parts of the world still don't want to have discussions about the red ribbon, if you know what I mean.
What is that? I don't know my history
The
of that.
red ribbon, that's a symbol of HIV/AIDS.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can't solve the world's problem. I'm talking from America
No,
because
no, 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 no. Here's what I'm trying to
we're
say.
still
Here's what I'm
doing
trying
it.
to say. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But in the U.S., there's still some of that cultural hang up from the puritanical things of the
Yeah,
1980s.
yeah, yeah.
Remember, you went from you because remember, you guys went from free love and the retro of the 70s to the uptightness of the 80s with Reaganomics and this new form of conservatism.
Yeah, but
And
Nema, the
mhm,
issue is it's the
mhm.
sexually liberated ones that are the ones that are woke, that are doing Me Too. That's the conundrum.
Yeah, yes,
These aren't the
correct. They're
conservatives
doing
doing it.
too much. And no, no, yeah, but the pushback that's also being had to it sometimes goes a little too far. I'm like, what are we doing? What the fuck are y'all doing? And to
You
the
mean
other side, I'm like,
the pushback against
there
the
needs to
wokeness?
be pushback. There needs to be pushback, yes. But I think it's like sometimes when you're pushing back, you go a little overboard. Some people, when they give the pushback, they go a little overboard. It needs
Oh
to be
yeah,
called out and it needs to
yeah.
be corrected, yes. But what you don't want to do is go overboard. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you never want to go overboard. But what
Hmm.
I again, I'm very liberal. I think when you're in a group of guys shouldn't be hitting on each other. So if you have a certain sexual proclivity, when you're around the
Hmm.
guys, read the room and just do that somewhere else, right? Like,
Learn to
but
respect
that,
that. Learn
right,
to like. There's a time and a place
yeah,
for everything. Puts that. Yeah.
exactly. But that's not about
Hmm.
hate or anything. It's just like you
Respecting each other's boundaries.
it's respecting boundaries, because because then the whole situation is different, right? And especially we're talking about like
Hmm.
little kids, shit just starts getting real blurry if you don't tell them like, hey, don't worry about any of that stuff till you get older. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, they're going a little bit. They're the on the other side going overboard, and they're
Yeah.
it's just pure chaos. It's literally just chaos. There's no
Yeah.
rhyme or reason to it. It's just destroying everything.
And yeah, I mean, just like how, like in certain places, like it's just like the whole thing about sex and sexuality. It's like you need to be age appropriate about that. Like I'm like you don't want kids exposed to certain things. That's why parents have to keep a control on, have to be not helicopter parenting, but they have to like to keep a watchful eye on what their kids are involved in. This is why I'm for parents. If you're going to give your kid a cell phone, make sure you have an app to make sure you monitor their phones and keep control of what they can access on their phones. Like you can limit how much they have access to social media or the internet or whatnot, and teach them how to, and like gradually give them more and more liberty, but with responsibility on how they can protect themselves.
The CEO of Apple don't give his kids iPhones.
Yeah. Wait a minute. The CEO doesn't? Does he have kids? Jeff
Yes,
Cook.
yes, Tim Cook.
Tim Cook, and he's LGBT plus. All right, okay.
Yes, and he don't play that shit. So I'm just saying,
He
that's what I'm
doesn't play
saying.
that shit.
There's stated preference and there's actual preference, and the
Yeah.
elites are going to shit test you. They say they're going to say one thing, and you go live. You see their life. Their life is like they're living on the fucking farm, organic, lights out at 9 p.m. No electronics, like weird shit. You're like, why? You're the leader of a tech company. Why don't you have any phones here? Oh, it's bad for you. But they're not going to tell you that, right? They're going to sell it to you.
Yeah. Because you're the conscious consumer. You're the unconscious consumer. That's why I grew up. This is why I had to be careful when it came to things like consumerism as I got older. Because hell, I fell for it as any kid did, being exposed to it and how it affected me negatively. But thankfully, thankfully, I learned a lot of good things. Like, for example, one thing I did, one good memory I had with some of the good memories I have with my dad is, as a kid, we would go to electronic stores, and I would follow him, and whenever he was looking for electronics or whatnot, he always was asking questions to the salesperson about this device or that device or whatnot. I learned that from him, and it helped me become a better, be more tech savvy and more conscious as a consumer of what I'm buying, whatnot. Like when I take a phone or a tablet or something like that, I check reviews, I do the research, I look at the specs on this device, compare it with others, compare price, and consider is this going to be an asset? Because I need to. Is this what I need for my needs, for whatever needs I need, as a phone and whatnot? What else do I have to also need to go with it? And anytime I buy a phone, I also make sure to buy a case to go with it, and all the things I need for to protect it, keep it safe, for screen protectors and such, just to make sure I have what I need, but I don't have to deal with any of the bullshit like when shit happens. It's the same thing like if you've been in the military, you just make sure you have the right kit for the right tools for the job. And some people don't understand that. But you have to learn to use it as a tools and as a means to get what you need, not just for mindless scrolling and whatnot. Because doom scrolling really affects people's mental health. That's why the Netflix documentary Social Dilemma is something people need to be watching more often. In fact, I got to go back to it. Everybody else got quiet?
Yeah, it might be that time for me. I gotta get up, do some things in the morning, man. This was a good ass chat.
Yeah, appreciate that, man.
That's the after show. For some reason. We gotta go. I gotta storm the towers of YouTube to ask them why do I get non-viewers for 6,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's shadow ban.
You should do more comic content, Charles.
I should do Uncle Story Time.
Yeah, man.
Bring your kids here. Let me show them how to tip a bitch the right way. Show you how to gut
just remember also, there's one important book. You know what? I need to visit. You know what? I need to FaceTime Samuel L. Jackson because he needs to read me my favorite bedtime story, and that is Go the Fuck to Sleep. He narrated that book. Go the fuck to sleep and stay the fuck at home. Like when they had the COVID shutdown, read the book, stay the fuck at home. Oh, by the way, as I usually say, and I forgot to say this lately, but remember, folks, y'all ain't shit, never been shit, and never will be shit, and God bless you. In fact, just like Johnny Witherspoon, I think everybody needs to take a good long shit just to be free of shit.
I think I'm still the shit. But anyway.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Good night. Nowhere. Woo! Good night.
Woo!